in heaven.
Heaven? Where is that?
Heaven is the center of the universe. In heaven.
Heaven? Where is that?
Heaven is the center of the universe, the center of all things.
God must be wonderful to have created all these beautiful things.
He is the personification of love and compassion, power, justice, kindness, all that is good.
But why did he create me?
You are to have dominion over the earth, rule the animals, the birds, and fishes, control the elements. You are the prince of this world.
I am? Oh, I'd like to see some of the elements, and the earth over which I am to rule. May I?
Look around you, Adam.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Here is one of the animals God created.
Oh, what a pretty little creature. May I pick him up in my arms?
You are the prince of this world. You may do as you wish.
Come to me, little fellow. Oh, my, but you're soft and warm. And what a fluffy little tail you have. What is his name?
He has no name. God wishes you to name the animals.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm going to name this little fellow Rabbit.
And this, Adam, is the very center of the garden.
Magnificent. And what a beautiful pool of water. Crystal clear.
From this pool flow the 4 rivers that water the garden.
Oh, and that tree. How grand and majestic.
That is the tree of life. Its fruit imparts life.
May I eat some of the fruit?
You may eat of every fruit in the garden except one. That tree over there. It is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You may not eat of it.
It isn't good for food?
God forbids you to eat it. If you do, you will.
Well, God is my creator. I will gladly obey him in all things. I will not eat that fruit.
There, Adam. You have seen all the garden.
Hello there, little fellow. You're a friendly little creature. I wish you could talk.
In one sense, animals do talk, Adam.
They do?
If you study them carefully, their habits and ways, you will discover that you can understand them. This animal, for instance. See if you can understand him.
All right. First, though, I'll name it. Let's see. Dog. Yes, dog. That's just the right name for you. All right now, doggy, let's talk. How would you like to come along as we look around some more? Would you like it if we didn't take you along? You wouldn't, huh? Well, I can see you're going to be very close to men. Perhaps man's best animal friend. Well, come along then and we'll name the rest of the animals. I noticed that there are 2 of each animal.
2 of every kind, Adam.
Is there a reason for it?
Yes, Adam. The 2 are male and female, created thus by God as companions to each other and to replenish the earth.
Oh. Well, there aren't 2 of me.
I know, Adam.
Why?
God hasn't seen fit, Adam, and he knows best.
Oh, what do we have here? A fluffy, furry little animal. Oh, you like this little animal, do you? Well, very well then. We'll take him along with us, too. And I'll name him, Cat. Adam was busy and happy there in his garden home with his pets and animals. But God saw that he would be happier still with a human companion. So God caused Adam to sleep. Then he performed an operation, removing one of Adam's ribs. From that rib, God made a woman.
Hello.
Oh, you startled me.
I didn't mean to.
You're not one of God's angels?
No.
Who are you?
I'm Eve.
Eve?
I'm your companion, Adam.
My companion? Where did you come from? Heaven?
God created me from one of your ribs.
He did. What? You are beautiful.
Everything God created is beautiful. The grass, trees, this garden, everything.
God created it all for me. I mean, for us. It is our home. Everything here is for our special benefit and delight, for our happiness.
And I'm sure we'll be happy here, Adam. Oh, look, Adam.
Hmm?
This beautiful thing. What is it?
That, Eve, is a flower, a rose. Would you like to pick it?
May I?
Of course. God created all the flowers for us, for our pleasure. Pick all you wish. They'll never wither or die.
Wither? Die? What do those words mean, Adam?
Well, I don't quite understand myself, Eve. God told me that things would wither and die only if we sinned against God.
Sin? And what is that?
Sin is merely another word for disobedience to God's wishes, His laws.
Why would anyone want to disobey God?
I'm sure I don't know.
God is our creator. He certainly knows what's best for us. Why, to disobey him would be folly.
Yes, Eve.
There's certainly no question but that we will obey him, is there?
We will obey God, always.
Adam, I have a strange feeling in my stomach.
You're probably hungry.
Hungry?
Yes, you need to eat.
Oh,
I'll pick some fruit for you.
I would like some of that fruit, Adam.
No, Eve.
Oh, please, Adam. It looks so delicious.
It probably is, but we can't eat it.
Why not?
It is the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. God has forbidden us to eat of it.
Oh, then we'll not eat of it. God knows best, and, well, if he told us not to eat it, we won't.
You make me very happy, Eve.
I'm happy too, Adam.
And so began life for Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. One day, while Adam was pruning some vines, Eve, contrary to God's warning, wandered away from Adam's side. Before she realized it, she was in the very center of the garden, looking up at the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Oh, what beautiful, delicious-looking fruit. I wonder why God forbade us to eat it. Oh, well, God knows best, and if he said
Excuse me, did God forbid you to eat this fruit?
Yes, What? Who's speaking to me?
A friend.
I don't see anyone. Where are you?
Up here, high up in the tree.
What? I still don't see anyone.
Don't you see a serpent?
Yes, but, well, serpents can't talk.
Ah, but you're mistaken, Eve. I'm a serpent, and I'm talking. Oh, but Eve, tell me, did God really forbid you to eat the fruit of this tree?
Yes.
Oh, why?
If we eat that fruit, we'll die.
God told you that?
Yes. Well, God did tell us that.
Oh, my dear Eve, you're beautiful, but you're not very wise. Do you want to know the real reason God doesn't want you to eat this fruit?
Well, he doesn't want us to die. Well, then why did God tell us not to eat?
Because he doesn't want you to be as wise as he is.
Oh, now what's that got to do with it?
If you eat this fruit, Eve, you will become as wise as God himself.
I don't believe you.
Oh, I speak the truth. I can prove it.
Oh,
Well, look at me. I'm a serpent, and yet you're amazed that I can talk. Do you know why I can talk?
no.
Because, Eve, I ate this fruit.
You ate this fruit?
And if it will do all this for me, Eve, a serpent, why, think of what it will do for you, a human being.
God said if we even touch the fruit, we'll
Oh,
die.
nonsense, Eve. You won't die. You'll become wise as God himself.
I don't believe you.
I speak the truth, Eve. Here, take some of the fruit. See? You're touching it now, and you're not dead.
I'm not, am I?
Now eat some. Eat just a little bit, and you won't die either. Go on. Eat some.
Well, a little bite won't hurt, will it?
Of course not.
All right, just a tiny bite.
That's the spirit, Eve. There. That's the way. Does it taste good, Eve?
Yes, it tastes very good.
See, I told you it would. Now go on. Eat another bite.
All right.
A bigger one this time. And that's it. Now eat all of it. Eat it all.
Yes, I will. Oh, this is good fruit.
Oh, and why don't you take some to Adam and get him to eat it too?
I will. Yes, I will. We'll both become gods.
Now, see there, Eve. See how wise you are already? And free, like God himself. Now on, Eve, don't let anyone, not even God, tell you what to do or what not to do. Eat what you want to eat and do what you want to do. You're wise now, and you can rule your own life.
Oh, Serpent, I'm so happy. I'm going to take some of this fruit to Adam.
Good.
But please don't leave.
I won't.
I want Adam to come back and meet you.
Oh, don't worry, Eve. Adam will meet me many a time.
Adam? Oh,
Yes,
Adam.
Eve. I was wondering where... Why, Eve, what's the matter? You look excited, almost
I
frightened.
am excited, Adam. I just had the most thrilling experience. I talked to a serpent.
You what?
I talked to a serpent, a snake.
A rather one-sided conversation, I'd say.
No, the serpent talked too.
The serpent carried on a conversation.
Isn't it wonderful, Adam?
Eve, what have you done? Tell me exactly what happened.
Well, I was standing there under the tree of the knowledge of good and evil when all
The
at
tree
once
of the knowledge of good and evil. Eve, what have you done?
talked to a serpent. He was up in the tree,
Eve,
and
he must be the enemy God warned us about.
He's our friend, Adam. He said so.
Eve, did you eat the forbidden fruit? Eve,
What?
did you eat the forbidden fruit?
Yes, I did.
No, Eve, you didn't. You couldn't.
I did. And I'm not dead either. I'm not going to die. The serpent said I wouldn't.
He is the enemy God warned us about.
Nonsense. Here, Adam, I brought some of the fruit for you. Eat it, and together we'll become gods.
No, Eve, I can't eat it. We'd die. We'd both die.
I've already eaten it, haven't I? And I'm not dead. Oh, please, Adam.
No,
If you love me, you'll eat it.
I do love you, Eve. I love you very much, but I can't disobey God.
You love God more than you do me.
Oh, Eve, don't be ridiculous. I do.
Ridiculous. You don't love me or you wouldn't talk to me like that, Adam.
Eve. All right. Give me the fruit. I'll eat it. Together we'll die.
Together we'll become gods, Adam.
Together we will die. It tastes good. It's very good.
I told you.
Maybe you're right. Maybe this fruit will make us like gods.
Adam, isn't it wonderful?
Yes, Eve. No, it can't be true. Oh, Eve, we have sinned, and God will punish us.
Don't be absurd,
Eve.
Adam.
Eve, God's presence has already left us. Feel the air. It's becoming chilly, cold.
Oh, Adam. Adam, I'm afraid. Look, even the robe of light has left us. Oh, Adam, what do we do?
I don't know, Eve. You should have thought about that before you ate the fruit.
Are you blaming me for this?
I'm blaming no one.
It's your fault. You let me go near that tree.
I let you go.
Yes.
You sneaked away when I wasn't looking.
I did not.
You did.
I did not.
You did, and furthermore, if you had any sense, you wouldn't have been fooled by a serpent.
So now I don't have any sense.
That's right.
Don't you dare yell at me, Adam.
Who's yelling?
You are.
I am not.
And you're mean to me.
I am mean to you.
I wish I were dead.
Dead? Well, Oh, Eve. See what sin has already done to us. We're quarreling and fighting.
Yes, you are quarreling, aren't you?
It's the serpent, Adam?
Yes, it's I, Eve.
Get out! You have no right in this garden.
I have every right, Adam. I'm the prince of this world, and I
am the prince of this
Oh,
world.
you were, Adam, you were. But when you yielded to me by eating the forbidden fruit, you yielded to my superiority. You lost dominion of this earth, and I took over. Now you will do as I say.
Leave this garden at once. You are God's enemy, our enemy.
Enemy of God? Yes. You see, God and I had a war in heaven once, Adam. He won that war, but I'll win the next one, the one here on earth. The one that started when you ate the fruit. And someday I shall rule from God's throne, master of the universe. Yes, I'm God's enemy.
Leave this garden. I command you to leave.
I command, and you obey.
In the name of God, I command you to leave.
No, don't say that. Don't use that name around me. I don't like it. I can't stand it.
In the name of God, leave this garden at once.
All right, Adam. I'll leave, but I'll be back. Plenty of time.
Adam, I'm afraid.
We have need to be afraid, Eve. But let's always remember, if we call on God, we can overcome the adversary, just as we now overcame him.
Look at these flowers, Adam. They're not pretty like they were.
They've withered and died.
Will this death happen to us?
The penalty of sin is death. Soon after this, Adam and Eve were told that they would have to move from the garden.
Move from the garden? But we can't move. This is our home.
You have sinned. As sinners, you have no right to this perfect paradise home.
But I don't want to leave.
Does the Lord still love us, even though we have sinned?
The Lord still loves you, and always will.
Then why is he making us leave our home? That doesn't sound like love to me.
Eve, forgive her for the way she's acting. She is wrought up and sad, doesn't realize what she's saying.
All heaven is sad, but there is no other way. You must leave the garden.
Will we wither and die like the flowers?
The wages of sin is death. The moment you sinned, that very moment, you began to die, to grow old. You started on the downhill path to death in the grave.
Is there no hope for us? No salvation?
Yes, Adam, there is hope. God will someday send his only begotten Son to save you from your sins and redeem the lost world.
When will this be?
The exact time is unimportant. Until the Savior does come, you and Adam will go outside the garden and start a new home. Invite God to be its ruler, and you will have a happy home.
We will do as you say.
How is the Savior to come into the world?
He will be born as a babe.
Will I be his mother?
I cannot reveal that to you, Eve.
Come, Eve. We must go outside the garden and start a new home. A happy, God-fearing home.
Yes, Adam.
The man who believed what God said.
For many years, Noah has been warning the world of an impending flood. At the same time, he and his 3 sons work untiringly to build a great boat to house people and animal life during the storm.
There comes Noah now!
Oh, those 3 young men following Noah on the platform are his 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Those 4 women back of the platform are probably Noah's wife and his 3 sons' wives.
People, quiet, please. Friends, I am Shem, eldest son of Noah. It's my duty and great pleasure to introduce Noah, my father, chosen of God to herald the coming flood. Friends, by this time it is common knowledge that this ark is being built as an ark of safety for all those who will choose to be saved from the soon coming flood. God is a God of love. He is not willing that any shall perish. Even now, if the world would repent and turn away from its sins and evil doing, God would spare the earth from the flood. But God is also a just God and a powerful God. He will not be trifled with, nor continue his long suffering with sin and wrongdoing forever. If men choose to continue in their evil ways, he will most certainly destroy the world with a flood from which none will escape. Very soon the flood will be upon you. Not many more times will I be able to warn you. Won't you believe? Come into the safety of the ark.
Thank you, friends, for your attention. Tomorrow my father Noah will again appear on this platform, as he will every day until the day of the flood.
Oh, well, come on, it's all over. Let's go.
Before we return home, excuse us for a few moments, will you?
Oh, surely, but I'll be right here when you get back.
Come on, dear.
Yeah, but don't be gone long.
Where are we going? Shh! Wait until we get out of your father's hearing. I don't want him to know where we're going.
Oh.
Did you notice those 4 women back of the platform?
While Noah was speaking?
Yes.
What about them?
One of them was your sister.
It was. I didn't notice.
I did. We're going to find her and talk to her. There she is. She sees us too.
Mother, sis.
Hello. What are you doing here?
More appropriately, what are you two doing here?
Your father brought us to hear Noah and to view the ark.
Father came and brought you? Oh, this is a surprise, Mother. Oh, I'm so glad you decided to come.
Oh, daughter, why don't you give up this silly idea and come back home?
No, Mother. I'm convinced that God is using Noah to warn the world of the flood. I must follow my convictions. But you, Mother, you and Sis, why don't you come with us and be saved?
I don't know what to believe. I'm confused.
Believe, Mother. Believe what God says. Noah speaks the truth.
Perhaps, but I can't. I don't want to leave your father. Maybe if there is a flood, you'll let me in the ark then.
Oh, I wish that I could. But I won't be able to, Mother. Once the door of the ark is closed, it'll be too late. Your doom will be sealed. Oh, but it isn't too late now, Mother. There's still time today.
Mother,
Yes, dear.
I just heard. Sis is married. She married Shem. Mother, did you hear me? Sis married Shem, Noah's oldest son.
I heard you. She...
We're going to the ark right away.
Again?
Now hurry, or I'll go without you.
Go ahead and go.
Oh, don't you want to go?
Should I want to?
Well, it's rumored that the ark is completely finished, and something's about to happen that might be exciting. They're going to call the old man's bluff, make a fool out of him. Should be interesting, huh? Well, are you going or not?
Oh, don't be so impatient. I'll be ready in a few minutes.
I'm going too, Father.
People, my dear people, the ark is finished. Every part of it just as God directed. A great abundance of food for both man and beast is laid in store. Now, once more...
Oh, you need now with some people and animals, eh, Noah? Need some help to round them up?
Once more, my people, I plead with you. Accept God's last call of mercy. He loves you. His great heart yearns to save you. He has provided
provided a way of escape for you. For 120 long years he's waited for you. Is there not one who will enter the ark of safety now while the door is still open?
Just a minute, friends. As one of your leaders, a representative of the masses, I say, don't be alarmed by what this man is saying. The threatenings of God are for the purpose of frightening you. But you need not be alarmed. Such an event as the destruction of the world by the God who made it and the punishment of the beings he has created will never take place. For centuries, the laws of nature have been fixed. The seasons come and go in their order. The earth has always been watered by a mist or dew. The rivers have never yet overflowed their boundaries. As to rain or water coming down from the heavens and causing a flood, preposterous! Be at peace! Continue to build, to drink, and be merry, for this Noah is a wild fanatic, a deluded old man!
Look over there, coming toward the ark. Animals! All kinds of animals!
A great silence has just fallen upon this vast mocking throng. A strange phenomena is taking place. Beasts and animals of every description, the fiercest as well as the most gentle, are seen coming from mountain and forest. They all seem to be quietly making their way toward the ark. The clean beasts are coming in sevens, and the unclean in twos. And now something else is beginning to happen. There's a noise like a rushing wind. Why, it's birds. Birds are flocking from all directions. So many of them that their numbers are darkening the very skies. It's a very strange sight. They seem to be flying in perfect order, straight into the great doorway of the ark. The animals and the fowls are obeying the command of God, but men refuse to heed his command. All that is, except Noah and his wife and their 3 sons and their wives, they also have now entered the ark.
Look! There's a dazzling light by the door of the ark. The door of the ark is closing all by itself.
Maybe an angel from heaven is closing the door.
Noah and his family are inside the ark.
I'm glad our daughter is in there, too.
I'm afraid.
We have need to be afraid. There is going to be a flood. We are doomed. We have sinned away our day of grace.
Oh, nonsense.
Then how do you explain all these unusual happenings?
I don't know. But our wise men and philosophers will explain them. Just wait and see.
Friends, I have been chosen as the spokesman for your leaders, your elders and wise men. They have instructed me to assure you that there will be no flood. Despite the unusual things you witnessed here, there still can be no flood. You are urged to get back to your normal way of life. There will be no flood.
For 7 days after Noah and his family entered the ark, there appeared no sign of the coming storm. During those long days, the faith of Noah and his family was tested. But it was a time of triumph to the crowds outside. More than ever, they were sure the flood would never come.
How long do you think they'll stay in that boathouse? It must be awfully dull in there without anything going on.
Oh, they have to feed the animals, you know.
Hey, Noah! Noah, open up the door! Open up so you can prophesy about the coming flood, huh? Hey, Noah! Oh, Noah!
Yeah, Noah, you've been preaching a day of doom for 120
feed your carcass to the lions and buzzards.
On the 8th day, dark clouds overspread the heavens.
What is it?
Beginning of the flood. That's what.
Then came the muttering of thunder and the flash of lightning. Soon large drops of rain began to fall.
Maybe there will be a flood.
The world had never witnessed anything like this, and the hearts of men were struck with fear. Darker and darker grew the heavens, and faster came the falling rain.
There is going to be a flood. What do we do?
I'm going to make my sister let me in the ark.
It's too late. Remember what she said, that once the door was closed, no one could get in.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to tie myself to the ark. If it's saved, then I'll be saved too.
It won't do you any good. There's nothing we can do to save ourselves. There's no use even to try.
Well, I'm going to try.
Lots of people tried in vain to save themselves. Many pleaded to be let in the ark, or endeavored to break in. Others fastened themselves to massive trees on lofty mountains. Some lashed themselves and their children to strong animals, believing that the animals would climb to the highest points to escape the rising waters. But all in vain. The storm increased in fury. The fountains of the deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. As the waters covered the lower places of the earth, many people fled to the mountaintops. Finally, even these were covered, and the despisers of God perished in the black depths. The world became a shoreless, lifeless ocean. Inside the ark was peace of mind and safety, and thankfulness to God, that God is not only a God of law and justice, but also a God of love and mercy.
O great and merciful God in heaven, we thank thee for saving us this day from destruction. Now, wilt thou sustain us through the trying days and weeks that lie ahead? Preserve the ark and its cargo of living creatures as it is tossed about by the angry billows. And when these waters shall subside, may we continue always to worship and obey thee in all things. O God, may thy mercies and wondrous love abound forever and ever.
"12 months on a boat."
Holy Scripture says,
"And rain fell upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and the waters increased, and bore up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. And waters prevailed above the mountains, covering them 15 cubits deep."
It often seemed to the family within the ark that they must perish, as for 5 months their boat was tossed about. It was a trying ordeal, but Noah's faith did not waver. He had the assurance that God's hand was guiding the ark.
I wonder if we'll ever get out of this alive.
Ham, shame on you talking like that.
We've been shut up in this ark for almost half a year. Think of it. 150 days, and still the storm rages. Oh, listen to the wind and feel the motion of this boat.
But Ham, you... Oh, it is discouraging, I'll admit.
Father Noah says that God will take care of us. Just have patience.
Patience? For 5 months we've been shut in with all these noisy birds and animals. I'm getting tired of it.
Son, I know it's been difficult, but let's remember that God has been very merciful to us.
Oh, I know, Father, but 150 days of this is enough to drive anyone to distraction.
Listen.
And still the end is not in sight.
Listen, please listen.
What is it, dear?
Things sound different than they did. And And this boat, it's not tossing around like it was.
Some of the noise has stopped.
Hey, that's right.
And maybe we're on dry land.
It must be.
Let's open the door and find out.
Oh, it'll be a relief to stretch again.
And not have a bunch of smelly animals around.
I'll go get our things together.
All right, but hurry back. We'll open the door.
Be sure.
Just a minute. Just a minute. We're going to open no door. We're going to stay right here, so just keep calm.
We may be on dry land.
Now, quiet, all of you. Listen to me. We came in the ark at the express command of God. We will leave only at God's express command. God closed the door. It will not be opened until he opens it.
Father, surely you don't...
Now, quiet, Ham. You and Japheth remove the covering from the window on the top of the ark. We'll look out and see if we are on dry land or not.
Oh, yes, that's good. Let's go. Steady.
I think I got it. There, the window's opened.
What do you see?
Can't see anything yet.
Shem, you crawl up in the window and tell us what you see.
Yes, sir.
Let's get up here. I really do want to know.
The sky, it's blue and clear.
Oh, the storm's over at least.
I can't see if the ark's on water or not, but evidently it is because I see water everywhere. We seem to be floating on a sort of a lagoon. I can see the tops of mountains all around us.
The Lord is protecting us. He has caused the ark to drift into this spot protected by a group of mountains.
We can't get out of the ark yet?
No, the tops of the mountains are the only land showing.
How soon will it be dry enough to go outside?
Well, it's hard to say, daughter. But at the proper time, we'll leave this ark and start life again on the earth.
Noah and his family anxiously waited for the drying up of the waters, for they longed to go forth again upon the earth. Finally, on the 40th day after the tops of the mountains became visible, they sent out a raven.
All right, Ham. Let the raven loose.
There it goes.
What good is it going to do to let the raven loose?
Raven is a bird of quick scent. If there's dry land, the raven won't be back.
Oh, I see.
The raven isn't even flying away. He's just flying back and forth around the ark.
Evidently, he doesn't detect any dry land, which means we'll have to wait longer before disembarking. Let the raven in again.
Yes, sir.
Seven days later, they again sent out a bird, this time a dove.
It's flying straight away from the ark.
Maybe the water's dried up now.
We'll soon know.
Oh, here it comes back.
It's still not dried up.
Evidently not. All right, Ham. Let the bird in.
A week later, Noah again sent forth the dove.
Oh, here it comes back.
I thought surely the water would be dried up by this time.
One of these days it will be. Just be patient.
The dove! The dove, it's got something in its bill.
Something in its bill? What?
Oh, just a minute now. I'll be able to see what it is.
Oh, I wonder what it can be.
It's an olive leaf.
An olive leaf?
A green one.
Oh, at last. The water is dried up and vegetation is springing forth.
Oh, wonderful news.
The hopes of Noah and his family were again revived.
And Noah removed the covering of the ark, and behold, the face of the ground was dry.
Oh, praise the Lord.
Still, they waited patiently within the ark for nearly 2 more months, waited for God's command to leave the ark. At last...
Look at that bright light.
Yes, and the door of the ark, it's being opened.
Then God said to Noah,
Go forth from the ark, you and your wife, and your sons and your sons' wives with you. Bring forth with you every living thing that is with you of all flesh, that they may be fruitful and multiply upon the earth.
in the joy of being released from the ark, Noah did not forget him by whose gracious care they had been preserved. His first act was to build an altar and offer a sacrifice of every kind of clean beast and fowl, showing his gratitude to God and his faith in the coming Messiah.
But Father, why sacrifice so many animals? We preserve these animals at great labor and expense. Oh, surely God doesn't expect us to waste them on sacrifice.
Son, our first consideration always should be of God. We should cheerfully give him the first fruits of our labor. Every gift to us from God should be acknowledged by gifts for him and acts of devotion. We will sacrifice one each of the clean animals and fowls.
And when the Lord smelled the pleasing odor, the Lord said in his heart,
I will never again curse the ground because of man. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night, shall not cease.
And God blessed Noah and his sons. Sometime later,
Look, all of you. Over there in the eastern sky, another storm's approaching.
Another flood coming, we'll all be killed.
Look, there's a beautiful colored bow in the sky. I've never seen anything like that.
Yes. Father Noah, does it mean that we'll have another flood?
I don't know what it means. I know only that whatever comes, it will be God's will.
And God said to Noah and to his sons with him,
Behold, I establish my covenant with you and your descendants after you. Never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of a flood to destroy the earth. This is the sign of the covenant which I make between me and you, and for all future generations. I do set my bow in the cloud. When I bring clouds over the earth and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant, and the water shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh.
Yes, God put the rainbow in the sky, that all the world may know that never again will he destroy the earth by a flood. Not long after this,
Well, I think it's time we're building permanent homes, don't you?
Oh, yes, Father.
All right, sons, all three of you. Do some exploring tomorrow morning. Try to find an ideal spot for our homes.
Father, what do you consider an ideal spot?
Well, look around for a natural, beautiful setting. A place that is centrally located as to a grazing area and suitable land for vineyards and gardening. You'll know when you find the right location. Well, sons, have any success?
Yes, Father, but, well, we're disappointed in what we found.
Oh?
Well, everything's changed from what it was before the flood.
Nothing's the same. Nothing at all.
What do you mean?
All the mountains aren't pretty anymore. They're rugged and precipitous, jagged. Even the valleys and hillsides, they're ugly. All the forests are buried.
The entire countryside presents an appearance of confusion and desolation impossible to describe.
Such is the curse that sin has brought upon this once perfect and beautiful earth that God created. But with hard work and God's blessing, we shall go forth to build homes and re-inhabit the earth.
Yes, Father.
The Call of Abraham.
For some time after the great flood, the children of Noah dwelt among the mountains where the ark had rested. As the population grew, there were some that turned away from God and journeyed to the plain of Shinar. And they said one to another,
Let us build us a city and a tower, the top of which shall reach unto heaven.
And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower. And the Lord was displeased and said, Let us confound their language, so that they may not understand one another's speech.
What's the matter with you fellows? Sounds as though you've got rocks in your mouth. Now, if you don't straighten up and start talking so we can understand you, we'll never get this Tower of Babel built. Now start over again and see if you can get over here. Come on!
Thus the people that had revolted against God were scattered abroad upon the face of all the earth. But Noah, with his son Shem, remained true and faithful.
Shem, my son, I am about to die, being 950 years of age. After my death, you will become the patriarch of our family. You yourself, before the flood, have talked many times with Methuselah. Methuselah spent many years with Adam, so you know full well the origin of sin and its terrible consequences. You, my son Shem, must be the caretaker of God's truths and his laws for future generations. Shem, remember Ham and Japheth, thy brothers. Remember them. Be true, always, my son.
And all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Not long after the death of Noah, a very important event took place in the household of Terah. A son was born.
A boy. A son. I shall call him Abram.
That means the Father is exalted.
Years pass, and then another important event took place. Abram was married.
You are now my wife, Sarah. Think of it. My wife.
I'll try to be a good wife to you, Abram.
With love for God and for each other, we'll have a happy home.
I do love you, Abram.
I love you, Sarah.
Now Abram had two brothers, Nahor and Haran, all sons of Terah. And Haran died in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees.
Son, I am the patriarch of this family. According to custom, I am the leader and recognized authority in making family decisions. However, on this occasion, I stand aside while Abram, Terah's son, speaks to you about a certain matter. He has my consent and blessing to take over this informal meeting. Abram.
Thank you, Grandfather Shem. I need not point out that superstition and heathenism is all about us. In fact, and this is the sad truth, the seductive influences of this trend away from the true God has penetrated even into this family, this household. Idol worship is fast becoming a commonplace thing. This is displeasing to God, and for some time I have been seeking God's counsel as to what he would have me do about it. And behold, it came to pass while I was praying and offering sacrifices unto God. God of all creation, I pray thee, deliver us from the sin of idol worship that is fast creeping in among the descendants of Shem. We are fast becoming like...
Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of earth be blessed.
Grandfather Shem, Father Terah, and Nahor my brother, it was God who spoke to me. He has commanded me to go to a land that I know not. Nevertheless, I and my wife Sarah and all of my servants and flocks and herds shall soon journey from the land of Ur. Will not you also go with us?
Just a minute, my sons. Were I a little younger, I would join Abram.
But you, my sons, are young and full of good health. Who among you will join Abram? No one.
What about you, Father Tira?
I will go with you, my son. I shall take my nephew Lot and all my servants and household and seek a more fitting home.
I hope, my husband, that you're doing the right thing, leaving her like this.
Sarah, dear, I'm sure of it. God is leading, we will follow. He will show us a better land, a place where we can worship him undisturbed.
Perhaps there is no such place, Abram.
No such place in all the world.
You must remember, dear, that we and were only a very small part of the descendants of Shem. What about the descendants of Ham and Japheth? At the destruction of the Tower of Babel, they were scattered abroad over the entire earth. Why, by this time they'll have multiplied and become many in all corners of the earth.
Perhaps. Yet we must not question God's leading.
But son, some of the folks are beginning to wonder just where we're going.
And you, Father, do you feel the same way?
No, son. It makes no difference to me where we go, just so we can worship and obey the true God.
Abram, your father wants to see you.
Anything the matter with him?
I don't think so. I guess he just wants to talk to you before we leave camp for the day's journey, that's all.
Where is he?
He's down by the brook, near that large tree.
Father, you look ill.
No, just tired, weary, getting old, I guess.
Oh, you're not old, Father.
I'm nearing the 200 mark. Anyway, I didn't ask you to come here to talk about me. I was wondering, in the night I got to thinking, what do you think of this land?
Here?
Yes, right here.
Are you contemplating remaining here?
What do you think of it? I mean, the land, the scenery, the people.
I haven't seen many people. Hardly any at all. And the land, the sceneries. Because it's beautiful, it's magnificent. It looks like good soil. This might be very productive. And there's water here and plenty of room. Yeah. Might be a good idea at that, to stay right here for a while. Make our home here.
I'm getting old, son. Too old to journey about, and I want a home. A place to rest and enjoy my children and grandchildren. Abram, my son, let us remain here.
And so for a time, Abram with his father Terah dwelt in this place called Haran. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and he died in Haran and was buried there. After the death of Terah, the divine voice again spoke to Abram.
Abram, get thee out of this country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house, and go unto a land that I will show thee, and I will make of thee a great nation.
You're a man of faith, Abram.
Faith? The Lord said go, and I'm going. That's not faith, that's merely simple obedience.
But where are you going?
The Lord didn't say.
You're just going to start out and go?
Yes.
How are you going to feed me and the servants and the cattle and sheep?
The Lord will provide.
That is faith.
And Abram departed as the Lord had spoken. And he took with him Sarah his wife, Lot his nephew, and all the substance they had gathered, also all the souls they had gleaned in Haran. And they left Haran and traveled southward. For days and days they traveled, farther and farther south, until finally they came upon a beautiful and fertile valley set between two mountains.
Are we going to live here?
Well, we'll camp here for a few days.
Abram, look at the valley. Beautiful grass, olive groves, springs, and fig trees and pomegranates. Great vineyards and plenty of pastures for the herds. Oh, Abram, what better place to make our permanent home?
As you said, this is a beautiful spot, but look, inside the olive groves. What do you see?
Why, something that has the appearance of altars.
Yes, altars to false gods. And up there on the mountains, do you know what goes on up there? Sacrifices to false gods, human sacrifices.
No.
These Canaanites are an alien race. Idolatry is everywhere. I can't understand why God has led us here.
Oh, when are we going to move on?
I await instructions from God. We will do whatever He commands.
Abram, unto thy seed will I give this land.
Then did Abram build an altar unto God, and worshipped him. The weary traveler was much encouraged by the assurance that the divine presence was with him. And Abram removed from thence, and journeyed, going on still toward the south. And a great famine came unto the land.
But Abram, I'm hungry. Everyone is. Even the flocks and herds are suffering for lack of food. I think we ought to go back to Hebron.
God brought us here, and here we should remain.
But you can't let us starve, Abram. The entire camp is watching you, Abram, to see what you'll do.
God won't let us starve, Sarah dear.
No, not if we go where there's food. Back to Hebron. And you'd take us back there if you truly loved us, Abram.
Sarah.
We would.
Sarah.
Don't love me.
I do love you. But I must seek God in prayer before making a decision.
Abram could not explain why God had permitted the famine, but he would not turn back. With earnest prayer, he considered how to preserve the life of his people and flocks. Finally, he made a decision. He would move into the land of Egypt until the famine was over.
Abram? Abram?
Oh, yes, Sarah?
Something troubling you?
Sarah, do you really love me?
Of course I do, Abram. Very much.
Enough to save my life?
Save your life? From what?
From the king of Egypt.
Oh,
I'm
Abram.
serious, Sarah dear. When King Pharaoh sees you, he'll want you, and wanting you, he'll get you. You know how kings are. They get what they want regardless. And if the king discovers that you are my wife, he'll find some way to kill me so that he can take you.
Oh, I'm sure you're worrying uselessly, Abram. The king isn't so...
Please, Sarah.
Please what?
Listen to what I'm going to suggest you do about it. When you are asked about me, simply say that I'm your brother. Then my life will be spared.
In either event, if the king thinks you're my husband or my brother, if he wants to, he'll take me anyway.
There's nothing we can do about that.
But passing me off as your sister, Abram, isn't that a deception?
That you are my sister. Half-sister.
Oh, I know that, Abram, but still it is deception. I wouldn't be telling all the truth. I don't think any good can come from deception. Only evil and sorrow and heartache.
Abram, prince of Canaan, to see his majesty, great monarch of all Egypt, son of the gods and benefactor of mankind.
Prince Abram, come forward.
Long live the king. Long live the king.
Welcome to my country, Prince Abram.
If it please His Majesty, I should like asylum here in Egypt until the great famine in Canaan is at an end.
Well, I'm told, Prince Abram, that you're a man of great wealth, with large flocks of sheep and herds of cattle. Is this true?
In a very modest way, Your Majesty.
Well, your request is granted, Prince Abram. Egypt is proud to welcome you into its borders. You will be accorded every courtesy. Make yourself at home, Prince Abram.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Prince Hotep, you will escort Prince Abram and his entourage to the land of honor.
Yes, Your Majesty. This way, please, Prince Abram.
Long live the king.
Prince Hotep, to see His Majesty, great and mighty monarch of
Come
all...
forward, Prince Hotep.
Long live the king. Long live the king.
Did you get Prince Abram and his household properly settled?
Oh, yes, sir, and I think that...
Is he as wealthy as he's reputed to be?
Oh, he's a man of great wealth, Your Majesty, and also of great understanding and discernment.
Did you perchance talk to him about his religious beliefs?
Prince Abram told me all about his God, Your Majesty.
Did you see his God?
Oh, no, Your Majesty. His God is not a God of wood or stone.
Huh?
He's a living God. His name is Jehovah.
Living? In the flesh?
In heaven. Invisible.
Huh.
But Your Majesty, I wish to, I wish to inform you for very special consideration.
Yes, what do you mean?
Your Majesty, there is in the camp of Prince Abram a very beautiful, very desirable young woman. Oh, she's likened to the goddess of beauty.
Yes, Prince Abram's wife, no doubt.
Oh, no, Your Majesty. She is the prince's sister.
Sister? Oh, well, what would you have me do? Give you permission to make the young lady your wife?
Oh, no, Your Majesty. I was thinking of you.
Oh.
Sarah, that's her name. Sarah is so beautiful that, the minute I beheld her, I thought of you, Your Majesty.
Yes, Prince Hotep, do you think you can prevail upon the young lady to come here so I can judge for myself how beautiful she is?
I'm sure of it, Your Majesty.
Well, then be gone. Bring her to me at once.
Yes, Your Majesty. Long live the king. Long live the king.
What will I do, Abram?
You'll have to go to the palace with the man, as the king wishes.
I told you only evil can come from deception.
Nothing evil has happened. The king merely wants to see for himself if you're as beautiful as he's been told.
He wants to add me to his long list of wives.
Oh, that's better than killing me and then still making you his wife.
You don't seem to care about me. How do you think I feel, becoming the wife of a foreign king? I'm your wife, Abram. I love you. But you, all you care about is saving your own life.
Oh, Sarah. It was wrong of me to try and deceive the king. I can see that now. I will confess my sin to God. And then I shall pray without ceasing that God will let no harm come to you in the king's palace. Somehow, Sarah, God will rescue you from the clutches of the king. As you appear before the king, have faith, believe that God will rescue you. And forgive me, Sarah, for the mistake I've made.
Now, Princess Sarah, you remain right here for a moment while I step in before the king to announce your arrival.
I understand, Prince Hotep.
Prince Hotep, servant of the great king of all Egypt, announcing the arrival of Princess Sarah, sister of Prince Abram.
You may come forward, Princess Sarah.
Long live the king.
Greetings, Princess Sarah. You may withdraw, Prince Hotep.
Long live the king.
Well, you're indeed a very charming lady, Princess Sarah. I'm delighted that you would accept my invitation to the palace.
On the contrary, Your Majesty. I'm here because I had no other choice, as you very well know.
Oh, fear not, my princess. I know that you have but just come to Egypt. You're yet a stranger to our country and our ways. However, your king is a man of great patience and understanding. We'll take a few days to acquaint you with the ways of the royal household.
Not many days later.
Your Majesty, Your Majesty, the royal herdsman reports that His Majesty's cattle are dying of a strange malady. Your Majesty, more cattle are dying. Your Majesty, everything His Majesty possesses seems to be troubled by this great plague. Majesty, a strange and unnatural malady has struck all Egypt.
Call together my wise men and magicians immediately. A disaster has struck Egypt. You claim to be wise and possess powers of divination, yet you cannot give me the simple answer as to why my land and my people have suddenly come under the spell of this malady. Away with you! Away with you! Begone!
Your Majesty.
Yes, Prince Hotep. What do you want?
I can answer His Majesty's question.
You know the reason for this malady?
Your Majesty, a deception has been perpetrated against you and your people.
Deception? Who would dare do such a thing to me? Off with his head, whoever it is.
Be it known to His Majesty that the deceiver is Prince Abram.
Huh? Prince Abram? Prince Abram of Canaan?
The same, Your Majesty.
Well, what sort of evil could he possibly plot against me?
It is Princess Sarah, Your Majesty.
Huh? The princess? Well, what about her?
She's the wife of Prince Abram.
The wife? She's his sister. She herself said so.
Abram instructed her to, Your Majesty. Shall I have him beheaded, Your Majesty?
Beheaded? No. He's our guest. We cannot
But Your Majesty
guest.
deceived you, and he's the one
Prince
who's
Hotep,
responsible.
go fetch Prince Abram before me at once.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Be gone!
Long live the king! Long live the king!
Lackey, when Prince Hotep arrives with Prince Abram, have them brought to my private chambers. I wish to be alone with Prince Abram. You may leave.
Yes, Your Majesty. Long live the king!
Prince Abram, you deceived me, didn't you?
Yes, I did, Your Majesty.
Ah, then it's true that Sarah's your wife, not your sister.
She is my half-sister, Your Majesty.
Yes, but she's also your wife.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Prince, you're here in Egypt as a guest. Now, we feel responsible for your safety and welfare. I cannot let harm come to you, but I'm very disappointed in you. You deceived me. Almost let me make the grave mistake of marrying Sarah when she already has a husband. Why have you done this to me? Why?
I shouldn't have, Your Majesty.
Well, I'll tell you why. Princess Sarah is very beautiful. You knew I'd desire to take her to be my wife, and you were fearful that I'd take your life. Yeah. That doesn't speak very highly of your opinion of me, does it?
I'm sorry, Your Majesty.
Sorry? Being sorry doesn't make up for the plagues that have stricken my cattle and my household, does it?
No, Your Majesty.
Does the God you worship condone deception?
No, Your Majesty.
Well, then why did you do it? By the way, Prince Abram, is your God really that powerful? Powerful enough to bring calamity upon me and my people just to save your wife from becoming my wife?
The God of heaven is all-powerful, Your Majesty. He protects those who serve and worship Him.
Yes, well, I don't think you've served Him very loyally.
I have confessed my sin, Your Majesty. God has forgiven me.
Yes, well, I'm not your God, and I can't forgive you.
I understand.
I'm afraid to let you remain here, Abram. If anyone in my kingdom were to harm you in any way, your God would again bring judgments upon me and my house. I can't take that chance, so I must ask you to leave Egypt.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Prince Hotep, he'll see that you're safely escorted to the border.
Yes, Your Majesty.
See that a company of soldiers is made ready immediately to escort Prince Abram and his retinue to the border of Canaan.
Yes, Your Majesty. Long live the king! Long live the king!
Now, I suppose you're anxious to be reunited with your wife.
That I am, Your Majesty.
Well, remain here. I'll send her in.
You are very kind, Your Majesty.
Goodbye, Prince Abram.
Sarah.
Abram. Oh, Abram.
Oh, Sarah, darling. Oh, don't cry. We're together again, and everything's all right.
What about the king?
He knows that you're my wife, and he graciously restored you to me. But he has ordered us to leave Egypt immediately.
Abram, I told you that nothing good could ever come from a lie. Not even a little white lie.
Detail! This is the border of Canaan, Prince Abram.
Yes, I know. And I'm very grateful to you and to your king for this kindness.
May your God watch over you, Prince Abram, and bless you.
Thank you. Goodbye, Prince Hotep.
Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, Prince Hotep.
Back in Canaan again.
Happy, Abram.
Happy. Yes. Happy that God has forgiven me for a grave mistake. And happy that he has brought you safely back to me again.
Oh, Abram.
Yes. Up! Get up!
Sodom.
When God confused the language at the Tower of Babel, the people scattered in all directions, going into all parts of the world. Canaan, the grandson of Noah, moved westward and settled near the Great Sea.
This is a goodly land. We will settle here. You, Sidon, my firstborn son, will choose whatever land you desire from the northernmost part of the Great Sea to the southmost part. The rest of you, my sons, will choose according to your ages. We will occupy this land, control it forever and ever.
Most illustrious father.
Yes, yes, Sidon, my firstborn, speak up.
Here in this land of plenty, shall we worship the God of heaven?
The God of heaven? Who's he?
Oh, surely, my father, yes.
Listen, all of you, my sons. I worship no being. I reverence and worship money, wealth, power, pleasure, and luxury. Do you understand?
Yes, my father.
Above all, forget about God. Our fathers before us obeyed God, and what did it get them? Death. Death is ordained for all. So why do you live? Enjoy yourselves.
Many years later,
Sidon, my firstborn son, I called you to me because I am full of years and about to die.
Nonsense, my father. These old bones of yours are good for many a year yet.
Son, listen to me. Perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps, after all, it is best to believe in the God of heaven and obey his voice.
You're hysterical, father. Out of your head.
No, son. I'm just getting close to my grave. And the nearer I get, the less I'm sure that our way of life is right. What if we are wrong? What if Adam, Noah, and the rest of them are right? I just wanted to talk to you about it while I'm still alive.
Well, my father, you can stop worrying. You have talked to me, and everything's going to be all right. I'll tell you what, father. Come with me back to my cities. We'll make you forget that you're up in years. We'll show you that wealth and power and brute force are, as you once said, the only things worthy of reverence and worship.
I've heard about your cities, my son.
Best place on all the earth to live.
It's said that you have respect for no one or no thing.
Excepting wealth and leisure, and the giving of oneself over to a life of pleasure and passions. Oh, come back with me, my father, and see for yourself.
Yes. I think I'd like to see Sodom and Gomorrah.
You'll love it. There she is, my father. Sodom.
Impressive, my son.
And from this vantage point, one can see the entire Jordan Valley, spread out before you like a panoramic view.
It's beautiful, like a garden. The Garden of Eden.
Oh, yes, indeed, Father. Palm trees and olives, flowers throughout the entire year, rich fields of grain, flocks, herds. And we've developed art and commerce to the degree where the treasures of the East adorn our palaces. Caravans from all parts of the earth bring their stores of precious things to supply our marts of trade and enrich our private coffers. We never work, Father. Our every want is supplied by others. And the entire year is just one endless round of festivity and revelry. Come on, Father. I'll take you into the city. Your grandchildren will be glad to see you.
city walls look strong enough.
No, the strongest. We took pains to make them that way.
And the gates, are they guarded night and day?
Every second of the time. Whoa! 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 I want you to watch something, my father. You see that man walking towards the city gate?
Yes.
Well, I want you to watch what happens when he reaches the gate.
What will happen?
Just watch.
Who is he?
A stranger. Looks like a traveler going no place in particular. Now, see the gate guards approaching the man? They're asking him some questions. I thought so. He is just a traveler, come to our city merely to stay the night.
They're beating him! They'll kill him!
Well, sometimes they do.
But why?
We don't like strangers here in Sodom, my father, unless they're merchants who have come to ply their trade with us. We welcome to our city only those who will contribute to our wealth and pleasure. Just a traveler like that man? No, we don't want them, not even for a night. They steal our time and occupy our space. A wayfarer never comes a second time.
Heartless.
Of course it's heartless. That's what you taught me, Father. And it's profitable to us, to our city, and to me.
Years passed. Canaan died. Then Sidon his son. Continued idleness and riches made the Sodomite heart hard that had never been oppressed by want or burdened by sorrow. And the people gave themselves up to sensual indulgence. Then, one day, from the mountains, there came a lone man with a long line of servants and cattle and sheep, camels and horses.
Just a minute, stranger. You can't enter Sodom without just reason. Are you a merchant?
No, guard. I am not a merchant.
Why are you then? What do you want here in Sodom?
Well, I'm not sure that's any of your affair. However, I am come to make Sodom my home. I am Lot, nephew of Prince Abram of Hebron.
Lot? The wealthy Lot?
My uncle Abram is probably the wealthiest man in these parts, and I am the second wealthiest.
Welcome to the city of Sodom, Prince Lot. Enter.
Now, please stop crying.
All Sodom makes fun of me.
It isn't you they make fun of. They ridicule our religion. They don't believe in God, and they think we're silly to believe in God.
I don't have to keep on telling them I believe in God, do I? And you don't either, Lot. Please, for my sake, don't mention our religion anymore. Please.
It's our duty to live it and to talk about it and try to get them to believe in God.
No, it won't do any good. They merely turn a deaf ear to your pleadings. So please, please don't mention it anymore. For my sake.
Suddenly, out of the wilderness came the Elamite forces and waged a surprise attack against Sodom. Lot and many fellow Sodomites were taken captive by the Elamites. Hearing of this calamity, Prince Abraham, together with 3 princes of Hebron, set off after the Elamite forces, and finally rescued Lot and all the other Sodomites who had been carried away captive.
Oh, Uncle Abram, I knew you'd rescue us. You're such a good man. Why, I wasn't a bit worried.
Upon Abraham's return to Sodom, the king of Sodom came out to honor Abraham and his 3 confederates. The king bade Abraham take all the spoils of the battle, asking only that the prisoners should be restored.
Be it known to you, O king of Sodom, that I did not engage in this rescue mission for profit or gain. Rather, I did it because the God of heaven, whom I obey and worship, bids everyone love his neighbor as himself. Do unto others, God says, as you would have others do to you. The prisoners are restored to their homes. The God of heaven is the one and only true God. He is a God of love. He is a God who created all things, and by
Abraham, the friend of God, faithfully called the king and the wicked people of Sodom to turn from their sinful ways. Even before the war, Abraham had not been a stranger to the Sodomites. They had ridiculed him in his strange worship of an unseen God. But his victory over the superior Elamite forces and his kindly disposition of the prisoners and spoils excited the wonder and the admiration of the people. While they praised his personal skill and valor, yet they could not avoid the conviction that a divine power had made him conqueror over the Elamites. Even so, the people refused to change their ways or worship the true God, but rather continued in their pride, idleness, and evil ways. It was some years later that Abraham had 3 visitors, 2 angels and the Son of God. They told Abraham that they were on their way to destroy the wicked city of Sodom. Abraham, out of love and pity for the doomed people, pleaded that Sodom be saved if only 10 faithful worshippers could be found there. Mercifully, the Lord said he would spare the city if 10 righteous people were found.
And the Lord went his way as soon as he had left communing with Abraham. And Abraham returned unto his place.
The last ray of truth had been directed at Sodom, but it was rejected, as all truth before had been. And now, the last night of Sodom was approaching. Already the clouds of vengeance cast their shadow over the wicked city. While angels drew near on their mission of destruction, men were dreaming of prosperity and pleasure. That last day was like every other day that had come and gone. The sun rose on the eastern horizon. The city came to life. Men dreamed and made plans for greater prosperity and pleasure. Children played in the streets. Feasting and drunkenness were everywhere. Evening fell upon a scene of loveliness and security. The landscape of unrivaled beauty was bathed in the rays of the declining sun. The coolness of eventide called forth the inhabitants of the city. Pleasure-seeking throngs were passing to and fro, intent upon the enjoyment of the hour.
Follow me to the city gate, good friends, and I'll show you an exciting evening. Fun, frolic, everyone is welcome.
In the twilight, 2 strangers drew near to the city gate.
I say, friends, look approaching. 2 strangers. They're going to be surprised when we give them a special welcome. A Sodom welcome.
But you want to be sure they're strangers and not merchants or friends of some of our citizens.
Well, look at them. They're humble dressed. Would you say they are visiting kings come to call on us?
No.
And perhaps they're wealthy and powerful men come to our riches with their money.
No.
Would you say that they are merchants?
Well, they certainly don't appear to be.
Well, then they must be gods, and we should bow down and worship them?
I guess you're right. They're just strangers, wayfarers that come to spend the night. All right, let's give them a special Sodom welcome.
And you, my dear sir, because you dared question my judgment in the first place, you shall have the honor and the fun of beating them within an inch of their lives.
Me?
They shall get a double special welcome.
It'll be a pleasure.
We spent so much time arguing, it's too late. See, the 2 strangers are being welcomed to Sodom. Really welcome.
It's locked.
It's always that man Lot. All he does is sit there at the city gate to give a welcoming hand to strangers.
Well, he says it's a code of his religion.
This is one time he's not going to get away with it. These strangers are fair game for anyone. And I'm going to have some fun with them, lot or no lot.
Perhaps he'll invite the strangers to stay at his home overnight.
We can go there, can't we?
Well, Lot is a citizen too, you know, with rights to deal with strangers as he sees fit.
So do we have that right. And we're going to take it, even if we have to go right up to Lot's door to do it.
Hey, I'd like to listen in on exactly what Lot tells strangers. He must say something special to them the way.
Certainly are welcome to tarry all night at my home. My family and I would consider an honor.
Nay, but we will abide in the street.
In the street? No, you can't do that. It wouldn't be safe.
Safe? What kind of people inhabit the city anyway?
They're terrible, sirs. All they think about is pleasure, drinking, brutal games, perversion. Sirs, the people of Sodom have repeatedly refused to listen to the voice of God, calling them to repentance. Their cup of iniquity runneth over.
Perhaps it would be wise to accept of your hospitality.
Yes, indeed. I was going to take you by a roundabout way, hoping to conceal from those idlers at the gate my intention of taking you to my home.
Are they that wicked? Vicious?
Yes, sir. They see you now. They're watching. So we may as well take the direct route to my home. Come.
Would they dare attack us while we're in your company?
I wouldn't think so. Yet it depends. If they're out for an evening of revelry and drunkenness, they might.
You're a generous host, Lot, you and your wife. My companion and I appreciate it. You spoke of it not being safe for strangers here in Sodom. Now that we're here, guests at your home, perhaps it would be safe for us to look about the city.
No, sir. I beg of you, do not venture outside of this house.
You seem concerned. Much more concerned over two strangers than the circumstances warrant.
Well, sir, perhaps you have heard about Prince Abram of Hebron. He is my uncle. He is a faithful worshiper of the true God of heaven. Through the years, Uncle Abram gave me many good examples of true hospitality. That and the fact that I, too, try to live according to God's admonition to do unto others as I would have them do to me makes me what I am today. Do I hear something?
Sounds like an angry mob.
Could it be the idlers from the city gate coming here?
It probably is. I guess I'd better go out there. If they aren't handled just right, they might break in and take you by force.
Lord, we knew you were in there. We also know you have two strangers with you. Bring those men out here or we'll come in and get them.
I'm going out and talk to them.
Hey, brothers of Sodom, do not do this wicked thing against me and my guests.
Who are you to tell us what to do? Are you our judge? You don't hand those two men over to us right now, we'll do even worse to you than do to those two strangers.
Lot, come inside.
You shouldn't have pulled me in like that. Won't do any good. Now they'll break down the door and do violence to all of us.
No, Lot. Those men outside, small and great, old and young, all of them are struck with blindness, so that they will presently weary of trying to find the door and leave.
Struck with blindness? You're angels?
We are angels.
You're here in Sodom, in my home, for a specific reason?
The inhabitants of Sodom have passed the limits of divine forbearance. The cry of it has become great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord has sent us here to destroy it.
Angels! You will save us from that angry mob outside?
You, Lot, endeavored to protect us. Now we, in turn, shall protect you. We will save you from the destruction of Sodom. You and all the members of your family who will flee with you from this wicked city.
Flee? From Sodom? But this is our home. We've worked hard to build this home, and now leave it? Oh, no.
Make haste, Lot. Time is short.
But, Angel, we have children and grandchildren in another part of the city. Is there not time to warn them so they, too, may flee from the destruction of Sodom?
There is time. Go at once. Warn them.
Lot, the angry people outside, they...
Fear not. Fear not, my wife. The angry mob has dispersed.
But, Father, you must be joking.
No, my daughter, I am not joking. I was never more serious in my life. The city of Sodom is to be destroyed. Get up, go with me, that you may not be destroyed also.
Pay no attention to him. He's getting old, he's a little touch.
Lord God is destroying Sodom because her cup of iniquity is filled.
Nonsense.
My daughter, won't you come with me and escape while there is yet time?
No, she will not. Now listen, old man, get going. Go on back home. Sleep on it. In the morning you'll feel different.
But I tell you that the angels said that...
I don't care what the angels said. Sodom destroyed. Why, everything is just like it's been for years. Sodom is not going to be destroyed.
I beg of you, my daughters and sons-in-law, please
Good night, Pops.
All right, I'll leave. Good night.
Sorrowfully, Lot returned to his house and told the story of his failure. And the angel said,
Arise, Lot, and take your wife and 2 daughters who yet remain with you here, and leave the city.
And leave my other daughters and their families to be destroyed? Oh, it's more than I can bear.
But Lot did not want to leave his possessions, and his wife refused to go. It was hard to forsake their luxurious home and all the wealth they had acquired over the many years of their toil and labor. Stupefied with sorrow, they lingered. If it had not been for the angels of God, they would all have perished in the ruin of Sodom. Mercifully, the angels took Lot, his wife, and their 2 daughters by the hand, and quickly led them through the streets and out of the city.
We leave you here, Lot, for we must return and destroy Sodom. Hasten and make your escape.
As the angel left Lot, another drew near. It was he with whom Abraham had pleaded, the Son of God. In all the cities of the plain, not 10 righteous persons had been found. But in answer to Abraham's prayer, Lot, the one man who feared and obeyed God, was snatched from destruction. Now the command was given with startling vehemence, Escape for thy life, Lot, and look not behind thee, neither stay thou in the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed.
I plead with thee, O Lord, let me escape to Zoar, for it is but a little city, and it is nearby.
The Lord granted Lot's request. Then again the words were repeated, Escape for thy life, Lot, for the fiery storm shall be delayed but a little longer, and look not back, lest the memory of it be thy undoing. Lot, with his wife and 2 daughters, started across the few miles of plain for the town of Zoar.
I tell you, Lot, it isn't right to make us leave Sodom. God's judgment against Sodom involves me and my children. God shouldn't expect me to leave them and my beautiful home. Sure, Sodom is a wicked city and worthy to be destroyed. But how about the things it's taken us years and years of hard work to accumulate? Does the Lord expect us to give those things up? Why can't God temper justice with mercy? Why? Well, it's true. Back there in Sodom are all the things I love. My daughters and their... Lot, Sodom isn't yet destroyed. See, it still stands. I can see where my... Mother! What happened?
Daughters, come. We must go on without your mother. She has disobeyed God and looked back. She has turned to a pillar of salt.
The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot and his 2 daughters entered the town of Zoar. That same morning the sun was also rising on the city of Sodom. The bright rays of that morning sun seemed to speak only prosperity and peace to the city. The stir of active life began as usual in its streets. Men were going their various ways, intent on the business or pleasure of the day. The sons-in-law of Lot arose, and as usual, they were served breakfast by their wives.
And what's so funny, my husband, on this bright sunshiny morning?
Your father.
My father?
His obsession that Sodom is going to be destroyed.
Oh, last night.
Oh, last night. Look out the window. Sodom. Is it destroyed? Isn't Sodom the most beautiful and secure city in all the world? Oh, Sodom can't be destroyed, regardless of what your dear old father thinks and says.
Well, he means all right.
Means all right, she says. He's a weak-minded old man, scared of his own shadow.
You'll have to admit that Sodom is a wicked city.
Other cities and other people have been wicked. And were they destroyed? They were not.
Oh, you forget your history, my dear husband. The entire world was destroyed by the flood, all except Noah and his family.
Well, that's different.
How about the Tower of Babel? Is that different too?
Well, look, I don't follow your reasoning. What's your point anyway?
Nothing. I'm just defending my father.
Okay. I don't mind what the old man says. He's harmless. Which reminds me, your two sisters, the ones living at home, are they ever going to be mad when he drags them out of this storm? Well, it can't be. There is a cloud in the sky.
Maybe this is the end of Sodom.
Nonsense, such a thing.
Fire! There's fire everywhere! Everything's burning!
Look out the door!
And the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities, and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and all that which grew upon the ground.
A strange romance.
And Abraham was old and well stricken in years, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. Only a short time remained for Abraham and Sarah to be together, and by this time Isaac, the promised son, was past 35 years of age.
Sarah, I've been thinking.
What's so unusual about that, Abraham?
I've been thinking about our son, Isaac.
That's all you've been thinking about ever since he was born, dear. The point is, do you have any new thoughts about Isaac?
It's time he was getting married.
Married? Isaac? Oh, he isn't old enough, Abraham.
He's past 35.
But he's still my baby.
You're a typical mother.
Did Isaac say he wants to get married?
No.
Good. That settles it then. He won't get married.
But I told him I thought he should.
Abraham, you didn't.
Yes, I most certainly did. I was married, you remember, at about his age.
Oh, but there's no young lady available like whom Isaac could marry.
You were right the first time, Sarah, dear. There isn't anyone like you around for Isaac to marry.
And you certainly don't want an inferior daughter-in-law, do you?
Most certainly not.
Well, then.
Isaac was very cooperative.
Cooperative? Well, about what?
Letting me select a wife for him.
Well, all right, Abraham, out with it.
Oh, out with what?
Well, I know you. You have something on your mind. Now, what is it? Come on, what's on your mind?
I'm going to send to Mesopotamia for a wife for Isaac.
Mesopotamia? Well, now, who's back there in Mesopotamia you think is good enough for Isaac?
Well, I'm certainly not going to let Isaac marry an idol worshiper.
Why don't you just let things go for a while, dear? Things will work out all right without your help.
We are getting old, Sarah, and Isaac's affections are strong. He's gentle and yielding in disposition. If he married some young lady who did not fear God, he'd be in danger of sacrificing principle for the sake of peace and harmony.
You've talked to Isaac about that?
I have.
Well, just what did he say?
He was satisfied to leave the matter entirely in my hands. He also believes, and rightly so, that God himself will direct in the matter of choosing this wife for him.
You won't let the matter drop for a while?
Well, for a while, if you wish it.
Well, when the time comes, you're going to Mesopotamia and look around for a wife for him?
No, I said I would send to Mesopotamia.
Send? Send who, pray tell?
Well, Eliezer. Oh, Sarah, dear, you must remember that Isaac is a man, not a child, and we will have to give him up someday to some young lady. And we might as well do it now as later, now, while we're alive, to guide and direct.
All right, Abraham. Just as you say.
The day never came for Sarah to witness the marriage of Isaac. For at the age of 127 she passed away. One day, about 3 years later,
Eliezer,
Yes, master.
you are my oldest and most trusted servant.
Thank you, master.
You are a man of piety, experienced and of sound judgment.
Yes, master.
Do you approve of marriage, Eliezer?
Very highly, master. Between the right two people.
But how can one be sure one is making the right choice?
It's a chance young people have to take, master.
Then you don't approve of romance?
But I do, master. Indeed I do.
But it's the custom of our time for parents to choose the bride and make the marriage arrangements.
Yes, master. But parents must not choose one whom their son cannot love. In the bestowal of their affections, youth must be guided by the superior judgment and experience of God-fearing parents. Then the engagement and marriage can be successful.
I can see that my confidence in you, Eliezer, was not misplaced.
Yes, master.
Sarah, Isaac's mother, is dead. Before I die, I want to arrange for Isaac's engagement and marriage.
Yes, master.
And I want and need your help. First, I want you to make a solemn oath that you will not let Isaac take a wife of the Canaanites, but rather choose a maiden from my family in Mesopotamia.
Me, master?
In case I die before all the arrangements are made.
Yes, master.
I'm going to send you to Mesopotamia to find a wife for Isaac.
But I'm just a servant, master.
As I realize, Eliezer, that I am giving you a difficult and delicate undertaking, but you can do it. God will be with you and help you. The Lord of heaven, which took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, shall send his angel before thee and search out the right wife for my son. You will leave for Mesopotamia within the week. You prepare yourself for the journey. I shall see that the gifts are made ready.
"10 camels, master? Why so many?"
For the bridal party that shall return with you, Eliezer.
I'd forgotten about that.
Just be sure she's a fit bride for Isaac.
Yes, master.
Yes, well, you better depart now, Eliezer.
Yes, master. Gerard, start up the camels.
God's blessing and speed be with thee, Eliezer.
Thank you, master.
after many days, Eliezer with the 10 camels, many costly gifts, and a retinue of servants, approached the city of Nahor in Mesopotamia.
Beautiful country, Mesopotamia.
Surely is. And look at that city of Nahor. Did you ever see such beauty?
Hey, Eliezer, look over there. All the women, what are they doing?
Well, that's the city well. The women folk of the city go there to draw water for their families and flocks.
Well, why don't we stop there? Seems like as good a place as any to start our search.
Yes, we will stop there. But first I want to pray and ask the Master's God to be with me. Stop the camels, Gerard. O Lord, God of Master Abraham, I pray unto thee, send me good speed and show kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, O Lord, I stand near this well where the daughters of Nahor come out to draw water. Let it come to pass, O Lord, that the damsel to whom I shall say, let down thy pitcher that I may drink, if she shall answer and say, drink, and I will give thy camels to drink also, let the same be she that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac. Thereby, O Lord, shall I know that thou hast showed me the right damsel, and that thou hast showered kindness upon my master Abraham. Thank you, O Lord God of Abraham. Amen.
Eliezer, I think that there is one of the most beautiful girls I have ever seen. I imagine Mistress Sarah looked like that when she was young.
Which one, Gerard?
She's wearing a red frock and a blue headdress.
Oh, yes, I see her.
Yeah.
Oh, she is beautiful.
And well-mannered, too. See how she smiles and how courteous she is to the other girls. Ah, she's quality folk, I imagine. Just like Mistress Sarah. Are you going to ask her for a drink like you said in your prayer?
If she comes in this direction.
I hope she's the right one for Isaac. He'd love her. And we'll soon know in which direction she's going. She's putting the pitcher of water on her shoulder. She is coming in this direction.
You stay here, Gerard. I'll go down to meet her. Pardon, ma'am, but I'm very thirsty. Let me drink of that pitcher, I pray thee.
Gladly, sir.
Oh, here, let me help you lower the pitcher.
Here you are, sir.
Oh, it's good water. Cool and refreshing.
Your camels, sir, they must be thirsty. I will be happy to water them also.
That's very kind of you, ma'am. Whose daughter art thou, ma'am?
I am the daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son.
May I present you with these?
Oh, jewels, rings, bracelets. Oh, they're beautiful, sir. But what are they for?
They're yours, ma'am, for the kindness you have shown me and my camels.
Oh, but sir, it is customary in this country to give water to strangers.
You will accept these small gifts?
Well, it is not considered polite to refuse gifts.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. And if it please you, would you tell me your name?
Rebecca, sir.
Rebecca? I make bold to inquire if it is possible for me and my men to partake of your hospitality for the night.
I have not that authority, sir, but I shall hasten home and ask my father.
You're very kind, Rebecca.
I'll be back short. Begging your pardon, sir, but may I tell my father who asks for hospitality?
I am a servant, a trusted servant of Prince Abraham. He is your great uncle.
Uncle Abraham? The same one who used to live here? Brother of my grandfather Nahor?
The same, Mistress Rebecca.
I'll tell father.
Oh, wonderful young lady. O Lord God of Abraham, thank thee for leading me to the right damsel. Thou art a great and wise God, above all.
And see these rings and bracelets? He gave them to me.
The stranger gave you all those? Why?
Because he appreciated my help. I gave him and his camels water to drink.
It's nothing unusual, surely nothing that warrants such expensive gifts. Rebecca, are you sure you didn't encourage the man to give you this jewelry?
No, Father, I did not.
Then what do you make of it?
Well, perhaps where he comes from, it is customary to give such things in appreciation of kindness.
Where did he come from, Rebecca?
He didn't say, Father. But I know who the man is. At least, who he said he is.
Who did the man say he is?
He said that he is a servant of Abraham.
Abraham?
The Abraham from Canaan? Son, go to him and bring him here at once.
Yes, Father.
Welcome to our fair city, Eliezer. It is a special honor to have you with us. Tell me, Eliezer, how is Abraham?
Well, as can be expected, sir, seeing that he is 140 years old.
That old? My, it doesn't seem like he's been gone for almost 75 years. And my nephew, Lot, he went with Abraham to the land of Canaan. How is he?
Fine, sir.
Father, Mother says supper is waiting.
We'll be right there, Rebecca. I shouldn't have kept you chatting, Eliezer. Rather, you should have rested and been refreshed before supper.
Oh, it's quite all right, sir.
Then come, Eliezer, and we shall partake of food.
With your indulgence, sir, I'd rather not eat until I have made known my mission.
Your mission? I wondered why you came to Mesopotamia.
It is so important to Master Abraham that I would not be doing my full duty unless I fulfill that mission before satisfying my own needs.
No wonder Abraham trusts you and sent you on so important an errand. And it has something to do with me, I guess.
Yes, sir. Sir, my Master Abraham has a son named Isaac, and
I was wondering if Abraham had any children.
Isaac is his only child, sir, born to Sarah in their old age. Master Abraham was 100, and Mistress Sarah 90.
My. Must have been a miracle.
Yes, sir. Anyway, sir, Master Abraham said to me, "Go to Mesopotamia, and from among my kindred there." The very first young lady I approached and asked for a drink gave it to me, and also offered to water my camels. Then I gave her the gifts.
My daughter, Rebecca?
Yes, sir.
You expect my daughter to go back with you to become Isaac's wife?
The Lord has pointed her out as his chosen one for Isaac's wife. And Master Abraham said unto me, "The Lord my God will send his angel before thee to prosper thy way, and thou shalt find a wife for my son among my kindred."
Well, I don't know what to say.
Oh, I beg of you, sir, for my Master Abraham's sake, deal kindly with me, and tell me if thy daughter Rebecca will return to Canaan and become Isaac's wife, or if she will not. If not, then I shall continue on my way and look further for a wife for Isaac.
The thing, Father, surely is of God.
Yes, son, it is. Eliezer, take Rebecca, my daughter, and let her become Isaac's wife, as the Lord has spoken.
And it came to pass, when Eliezer heard these words, he bowed himself down and worshipped the Lord God of heaven. Finishing his prayer of thanksgiving, Eliezer brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and costly raiment, and gave them to Rebekah.
Oh, Uncle Abraham must be a very wealthy man.
Oh, he is probably the wealthiest man in all his country, and he has willed all that he has to his son Isaac.
Is he handsome?
Isaac? Oh, I think he's very handsome. But more important, he's a good man, kind, considerate, loyal, true, and a hard worker.
And Eliezer gave to Rebekah's parents and brother many precious and costly gifts. And they made a feast for Eliezer and the men with him, and they did eat and drink. Rising early the next morning, Eliezer said,
"Permit me to be on my way this morning, so that I may go immediately to my master Abraham."
You are going to take my daughter away so quickly?
I think that Rebecca should remain here with us for a little while to make preparations for the marriage.
Yes, at least 10 days.
After all, this is all very sudden.
I understand and appreciate your feelings in the matter, but the matter is urgent. My master Abraham will be awaiting my return, and at his age, anything could happen.
Why don't we ask Rebecca, see what she thinks? Laban, call your sister.
Here I am, Father.
Rebecca, Eliezer wishes to take you to Canaan right away, this morning.
But we want you to stay here for a while, Rebecca, at least for 10 days.
Whatever you wish, daughter, so shall it be. Will you go with this man?
I will go. Deborah?
Yes, Mistress Rebecca.
I am going to a far country to marry my cousin Isaac.
So it has been whispered among the servants, my mistress.
You wish to go with me?
I am your nurse, your servant, mistress. I will go where you go.
I'll release you, free you if you wish.
No, mistress. I shall go where you go.
Thank you, Deborah. Help my handmaidens pack, will you? We depart within the hour.
Yes, mistress.
May the Lord bless you, my daughter, and make you a good wife to Isaac, son of Abraham.
And remember, Rebecca, you are my sister. May you be the mother of a great nation.
All right, Terah, let's be on our way.
Do let us know how you get along, dear. We'll be so anxious about you.
Goodbye, my daughter.
Goodbye.
And Rebekah and her damsels rode upon the camels, and Eliezer took them on the way towards Canaan. Meanwhile, in the south country of Canaan, Isaac, taking care of his father's sheep, mumbles to himself,
Eliezer's been gone long enough to get there and back. I wonder if he's found a wife for me. I hope she will be as beautiful as Mother was. When they get back, they will go to Father's place in Beersheba, not here.
Romeo? Romeo!
I better go home or I'll miss them.
Romeo, I'm going to Father's place in Beersheba. Take care of everything here while I'm gone, will you?
Oh, don't blame you, my son. I was nervous and worried too when I got married.
But Father, maybe something happened to them.
Nothing's happened, my son.
Then why aren't they here?
Eliezer's scarcely been gone long enough to get straight there and look around, much less get back. Remember, it's a long way to Mesopotamia.
Maybe he couldn't find the right girl to be my wife.
I know God wants you to get married. It's the only way. His promise of seed as innumerable as the sands of the sea is to be fulfilled. God will lead Eliezer to the right young lady. And it'll be nice having grandchildren.
When do you think Eliezer will arrive, Father?
Son, it won't do any good to worry. Calm down. Perhaps it would be well if you went out to the west pasture and checked with the chief shepherd there. That will take your mind off Eliezer and ease your worry.
All right, Father.
Meanwhile, the caravan of 10 camels, led by Eliezer, is drawing closer and closer to Beersheba.
Tired, Mistress Rebekah?
Slightly.
Perhaps we'd better stop and make camp for the night.
How near are we to the home of Isaac?
Oh, we're almost there, Mistress Rebekah. See those sheep? They belong to Master Abraham.
I keep wondering what he's like.
Oh, he's a wonderful man, Mistress Rebekah.
Do you think he'll love me?
Oh, you mean Master Isaac? Oh, yes, Mistress Rebekah. Master Isaac will love you. And I'm sure everyone will. Master Abraham, everyone.
Eliezer, I'm so afraid I'll say or do the wrong thing.
Just be your natural, sweet self, Mistress Rebekah. I've been with the family since long before Master Isaac was born. I know them as well as anyone in this world, and I know they will love you.
Eliezer, ahead of us there. Looks like someone walking.
Yes, it surely looks like it. And whoever it is coming in this direction. I wonder who...
Who would come to meet us way out here in the fields?
Well, it could just be your future husband.
Isaac?
That, Mistress Rebekah, is Isaac, son of Abraham. He is coming to meet us.
Eliezer, stop the camels so I can dismount.
Gerard, stop the camels.
Oh, no.
I'm nervous, Eliezer.
Of course you are, Mistress Rebekah. But you just leave everything to me.
Eliezer told Isaac all that had happened and all that he had done, and how God had answered his prayer. Holy Scripture says, "And Isaac took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death."
The cheating twin cheated.
stone-tipped arrows?
They are, Master Esau.
Oh, what took you so long? One of these days, I'm going to have you flogged within an inch of your life.
Yes, Master Esau.
Don't you dare yes me. Get out of here and have the men get ready for the hunt. And hurry up about it.
We're going hunting for big game, Master Esau.
Big game? Well, little game. As little as one can get. We're going after my brother. Hunt him down.
Your brother, Master Esau?
Jacob, my twin. I'm going to kill him. Ah, cheat me, Willie. Now get out of here and get ready. Yes, I am going to kill my scheming, lying, cheating twin.
Jacob, my son, hurry and go before Esau finds you. He'll kill you.
Mother, he wouldn't kill his own brother.
He has vowed that he will get you. And he's a hunter. He's used to killing. Hurry, Jacob, please. And remember, I'll send for you as soon as it's safe.
I don't want to leave you, Mother.
But you have to, for your very life's sake.
Because we sinned, you and I, Mother. Sin is grievous, and we're paying for it now and always will. All our lives we'll pay for it.
Son, you must go. You've received your father's command to go to my home in Mesopotamia and get you a wife from among my people. So go, son, go, please.
Then goodbye, Mother.
Hurry! Run! Go on, run!
Goodbye. Goodbye, Mother.
Oh, I may never again see him.
It's getting dark. I better stop for the night. This is as good a place as any. Water, grass to lie on, trees to shelter me, twigs for a fire to... Oh, no. I guess I hadn't better build a fire. Esau, if he's still chasing me, might see a fire. But I can eat nuts, and I might even find some fruit. Well, I guess I better prepare for the night while there's still some light. Pine needles for a bed, and stones for a pillow. Stones. Well, that serves me right. These stones for a pillow. Yes, they're symbolic of what I have become, an outcast. I've completely lost the blessing God had for me, all because of my sins. I wonder if I dare to pray. No, God can't hear a sinner like me. Yet I will pray. I'll confess, and maybe God can forgive me. God in heaven, God of my father and of Abraham, hear me now as I acknowledge my sins and plead to be forgiven. I am a sinner, but oh God, don't forsake me. Do not cast me from the bosom of thy love and compassion. Oh God, forgive me and give me some evidence that thou dost forgive me. Forgive me, oh my God, forgive me. No, God won't forgive me. He can't. I'm too great a sinner.
Wearied with his journey, the wanderer Jacob fell asleep. But God had not forsaken him. God's mercy was still extended to his erring, distrustful servant. He compassionately revealed just what Jacob needed, a Savior. As Jacob slept, he dreamed a dream. And behold, there was a ladder, bright and shining, whose base rested upon the earth, while the top reached up into heaven. Upon this ladder, angels were ascending and descending. Above it was the Lord of glory, and from the heavens Jacob heard a voice declaring,
I am the Lord God of Abraham thy father, and the God of Isaac. In thee, Jacob, and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again unto this land. For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of.
And Jacob awoke and was afraid.
Surely the Lord is in this place, and I know it not. This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven.
In the morning, Jacob took the stone that he had for a pillow and set it up as a pillar, and vowed a vow, saying,
If God will be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God, and of all that I have, I will surely give 1/10 thereof to the Lord as a tithe.
And Jacob went on his journey, and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, there was a well in a field, and 3 flocks of sheep by the well.
You there, are you with the sheep?
Yes, why?
Well, why don't you go ahead and water the sheep?
You're a stranger in these parts, aren't you?
I just came from the west.
I thought so. Well, stranger, we can't water the sheep until someone rolls the stone away from the well's mouth.
Well, why doesn't someone roll it away then?
We have to wait until all the sheep are here.
There are more sheep to come?
There are only 3 flocks here now. There'll be a dozen or so when they're all here.
I see. Well, thank you.
You're welcome, stranger.
It's a strange custom. He wasn't very friendly. Wonder if all these eastern people are like that. Well, these men look friendly enough. Good morning, men.
Good morning, stranger. You're a stranger?
From the west. And you? Where are you from?
Haran, the city of Haran.
Oh, Haran. Well, do you happen to know a man by the name of Laban, the son of Nahor?
Oh, I should say we do know Laban. A good man, sharp as a tack.
Is he well?
Of course. Why shouldn't he be?
I was just wondering.
Well, if you have any more questions, why don't you save them for Rachel? She's Laban's daughter, and she brings her father's sheep here to water.
She does?
There she comes now, stranger.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Oh, that she is, stranger.
Can anyone... is anyone allowed to roll the stone away from the mouth of the well?
Well, if you're strong enough, but it has to be rolled back again.
Well, I am.
Want me to help with the stone?
Oh, no, I can do it. But thank you anyway.
Showing off for her benefit.
Why are you watering my sheep, stranger?
Jacob is my name.
Jacob, sir, don't you realize it's the custom here in Mesopotamia for women to water their father's flocks? You must be from a faraway country.
Well, I'm from the west. There, men folk do most of the hard work.
You still haven't told me why you're watering my sheep.
Your name is Rachel.
Yes.
Daughter of Laban, granddaughter of Nahor.
Yes,
These sheep belong to your father Laban.
What's all that got to do with why you're what? You kissed me.
Yes. I kissed you, Rachel.
How dare you insult me?
We are cousins, Rachel.
Cousins? Why, that's the best excuse, I bet. We're cousins?
My mother is Rebecca, your father's sister.
Oh, she married someone from Canaan. Isaac, wasn't it?
Yes, my father. They met, your Aunt Rebecca and my father, right here. My father's servant, his name was Eliezer. He came right here, probably at this well, and met Rebecca and took her back to Canaan, and she became Isaac's wife.
Yes, I've heard that story many times.
Do you think that, well, maybe... perhaps there's some significance in us, you and I, meeting at this same well. Do you think so?
I'd better run and tell Father you're here, if you'll watch the sheep while I'm gone.
My sister Rebecca's son here? Here in Haran?
Yes, Father, I left him at the well.
I'll go to him at once and extend our hospitality. Well. if you aren't the picture of Rebecca. And how is she?
Fine. When I left her, Uncle Laban.
You're her son. Well, can you imagine that?
I have a brother, a twin brother. His name is Esau.
Jacob and Esau. Well, it has a nice ring to it. But why do I keep you here like this, gabbing? Come, we'll go to my home, and you shall remain as my guest for as long as it pleases you.
Thank you, Uncle Laban.
But bring the sheep in, Rachel. We're going on ahead.
All right, Father.
Well, perhaps I should stay and help her.
I see you have an eye for beauty. You think she's beautiful?
Very much, sir.
You should see my eldest daughter, Leah. Rachel is beautiful, yes, but Leah, there's a girl to turn the heart of any man. Tender-eyed she is, and as docile and obedient as any girl gets to be.
And Jacob abode in the home of his uncle Laban.
Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning, Rachel. It's a beautiful morning. I suppose you're going to care for the sheep again today?
That's my daily duty.
I would, may I help you?
I've been taking care of Father's sheep for years. I can get along without any help.
Oh. Well, do you mind if I go along? You know, fresh air and well, you know.
You're our guest and have the privilege of doing whatever you wish.
Then I'll go with you. Rachel, are you, well, I'd like to talk to you if you're not too busy.
There's nothing to do until all the flocks get here and someone removes the stone from the well. Maybe you'd like to.
Yes, I would. But after I talk to you, well, you can guess what it's about. I think you're beautiful.
I heard you told my father that.
Shouldn't I have?
Oh, in this country, one doesn't talk to a girl's father unless he... well, they just don't do it here, Jacob.
Well, would it be all right if I am...
If you are what?
What you said? In love with you?
I didn't say that.
You almost did. You started to, and it's what you meant. Rachel, I do. I do love you.
Oh, no, you mustn't,
Why
Jacob.
not? Why?
I'm the youngest. I'm younger than Leah, and she has the first chance.
But I don't love her.
But she's really nice, Jacob.
I don't love her.
She'd make you a good wife.
But I don't want to. Well, I'll ask your father and let him.
Oh, no, don't ask him. I forbid you to.
Because you don't love me.
I just don't want you to.
All right. I won't ask him. I'll just tell him. If and when the proper opportunity presents itself.
Tell him what?
That I love you and you don't love me.
But I didn't say that.
Then you do love me.
Yes, and no. I don't know.
You do love me.
And Jacob abode in the house of Laban for the space of a month.
Well, Jacob. How do you like our eastern land and ways by this time?
I love it here, Uncle Laban.
Fine. And I'm glad you're here. The girls and servants tell me that you're a mighty fine worker.
I like to help where I can.
We're kin, Jacob, relatives. I'm not going to allow you to keep on working for nothing. You just tell me what wages you expect, and I'll pay it.
Well, sir, you have two daughters, Leah and Rachel. Sir, I'll work 7 years for you for the hand of your younger daughter, Rachel.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jacob, it's better that she marry you than some other man. Abide with me 7 years.
Well, if it isn't Rachel, what are you doing out here?
I came to help you, even as you helped me when I took care of Father's sheep.
Your help and presence is always welcome. Yet I think I detect something besides the desire to help me in your presence. But what? That's the question. You care to tell me?
You spoke to Father?
I've been speaking to him for months, well over a year now, ever since the day I arrived from Canaan.
Oh, you know what I mean, Jacob.
I know that I love you very deeply, Rachel.
You must to work 7 long years for me. Am I worth it, Jacob?
Every second, minute, and day, every thought, act, and word during those 7 years.
Father's taking advantage of you, you know that. 7 years' labor is a pretty high dowry.
Not for you, Rachel. I'd work 7 years times 7.
I hope you know what you're doing.
I do. I act according to the dictates of my heart. The important question is, do you love me?
Well, I suppose to.
Well, aren't you?
Well, in this day and age, a girl doesn't have a choice of whom she loves and marries. Her father makes the choice and does all the arranging.
Rachel, you didn't answer my question. Do you love me?
Perhaps. Perhaps not. Oh, Jacob. Oh, Jacob, I love you very much.
Leah,
Yes, Father?
do you like Jacob?
Of course, he's a fine young man.
How would you like to be his wife instead of Rachel?
Father, what are you talking about?
I've seen the look in your eyes. Jealousy of Rachel and love for Jacob.
Father!
Well, it's true, isn't it?
Jacob and Rachel are engaged to be married. In a few days now, the 7 years will be up, and they'll be married.
Now, you didn't answer my question. How would you like to be his wife?
But Yes, I am in love with him, but it's impossible. He loves Rachel.
It isn't impossible. I can arrange it so he will marry you.
How?
Are you interested?
I might be.
Yes or no?
Yes. Oh, now tell me how.
Brides are heavily veiled during the wedding feast and afterward. Well, under the veil will be you.
Don't you think Jacob is smart enough to recognize my voice?
Don't talk. Just listen. And
And you're not dead.
I'm not, am I?
Now eat some. Eat just a little bit, and you won't die either. Go on. Eat some.
Well, a little bite won't hurt, will it?
Of course not.
All right.
But it's impossible. He loves Rachel.
it isn't impossible. I can arrange it so he will marry you.
How?
Are you interested?
I might be.
Yes or no?
Yes. Oh, now tell me how.
Brides are heavily veiled during the wedding feast and afterward. Well, under the veil will be you.
Don't you think Jacob is smart enough to recognize my voice?
Don't talk. Just listen. Enjoy the feast, and Jacob won't notice anything wrong.
How about Rachel? Where will she be during the feast? Do you think she'll sit quietly by and let you deceive Jacob?
Yes, she's an obedient daughter. She'll do exactly as I tell her.
And what about Jacob himself? He'll be angry. He'll cast me aside, and I'll be a disgraced woman.
He won't cast you aside. I've thought of a way to prevent that.
The whole thing is absurd.
Not at all. Jacob knows the custom of the East. The elder daughter must be married before the younger. Well, you're the eldest.
Father, are you going to try to get Jacob to believe that custom is binding?
Jacob's a nice boy. He'll believe anything I tell him.
Tell me, Father, What is your real reason in wanting to substitute me in place of Rachel?
You are my eldest daughter, and you...
Father, I am not Jacob. I don't believe everything I hear.
Well, Jacob is a good worker. Everything he does prospers, and I don't want to lose his services. When he discovers that it's you he's married instead of Rachel, he'll still want to marry her. And then I'll get his services for another 7 years.
You'd sacrifice Rachel's happiness and mine for 7 years free labor merely to add a few more sheep and cattle to your growing herds?
Cattle is wealth, and wealth is power.
I didn't realize my father was quite such a selfish, scheming, money-grabbing man. Your wicked father, evil.
Yes, I guess I am, aren't I? But someday I shall be wealthy. Wealthy!
Oh, my darling Rachel, soon you will be my wife. 7 years have I waited for this moment. It seems but a few days now. And you, darling, are you happy?
Ah, my dear son-to-be, my daughter is happy. So happy she's lost her tongue. And now, my daughter, my son, it is time you departed for the marriage ratification. But first, friends, I wish to make an announcement. We are here to celebrate the wedding of my daughter to the man of her choice, Jacob. I am not losing a daughter, rather I gain a son. May I offer a toast to the newly married couple. May they prosper, have long life, and many children.
What is there to say more than I have already said, Rachel? My wife. I love you. I'm happy. And I'm sure God ordained this marriage, even as he ordained the marriage between my father, Isaac, and your aunt, Rebecca. We will obey God. We will be true to principle and to each other. Our happiness is as simple as that. Oh, Rachel, dear, as I remove your veil, I shall then and forever have the right to look upon your beautiful face. Never again will it be necessary to hide your lovely face from me and an admiring world.
Oh, Jacob, before you remove the veil, always remember I love you. Regardless of what happens, remember.
What could happen to cause me to forget that?
Just remember, will you? Please.
Of course. Now, Rachel, the veil.
All right, Jacob.
Leah! Leah! I can't believe it! You are Leah!
Yes.
You're supposed to be Rachel. Where is she? I married her!
No, Jacob, I am your wife.
I don't love you. I love Rachel.
I love you. Remember.
What is this all about? What's happened?
There was a wedding feast and ceremony. We married Jacob, you and I.
Who is responsible for this deception? You? Your father? Yes, your father. Sounds just like him. Well, I'll have a little talk with him right now.
Remember, Jacob, I love you. You promised.
Oh, your father did this to me. Well, he's going to have to answer for me, too.
Why be so upset about it, son?
Upset? I worked 7 years for Rachel and end up with Leah.
Leah's a good girl, tender-eyed, obedient, affectionate. She'll make an ideal wife.
Not for me.
I'm sorry, Jacob, but I had to do it. You knew it was a custom here in the East to marry the eldest daughter before the younger one can get married.
Then why did you promise I could have Rachel?
That was 7 years ago. I thought surely in 7 years Leah would get married, but she hasn't.
Well, I don't want Leah. I'll annul the marriage.
Don't do that, Jacob. You can't. It will disgrace Leah. It'll disgrace me, my family. No, Jacob. Please don't discard her.
Well, I don't know what to do.
Fulfill the week with Leah. Then I'll give you Rachel to wife for another 7 years of labor. 2 wives? It's done all the time. It's an accepted custom of our civilization.
Yes, but 2 wives don't make for contentment and peace in the family.
All right then, Jacob. If you wish to bring disgrace down upon Rachel and me and the entire family, go ahead and discard Leah. Go on. It's all right with me. Well?
I've already waited 7 years for the hand of Rachel. Another 7 years. That's too long.
Oh, you won't have to wait 7 years to marry her. Just a week. Fulfill the week with Leah and you can marry Rachel. You can work out the 7-year dowry after that. You see, Jacob, how much I trust you.
I trusted you, and look at the result.
I'm sorry, Jacob, but I just had to do it. And you will fulfill the week with Leah and marry Rachel for her sake and mine.
I'll think it over.
But, Jacob, think of the disgrace even in delay. With the people...
I'll think it over. Let you know. Rachel, you've been crying.
I guess I'm just a silly woman.
You're a beautiful woman, wonderful, and I love you.
Oh, Jacob, I love you too. But I guess I can't have you.
Who says so?
You're married to Leah.
I could annul the marriage.
You did marry her, Jacob, but you have a certain obligation, even though you were tricked into it. I guess I'm just doomed to lose you forever.
Maybe not. Your father made me an offer. If I'll fulfill the week with Leah, so the marriage can't be annulled, he'll let me marry you.
Really?
For 7 more years of labor.
Wait another 7 years?
Oh, no. I can marry you at the end of the week.
You're going to do it?
You'll be jealous of Leah. You'll fight and quarrel.
I don't care, Jacob.
You'll have but few really peaceful moments as a sister wife.
I don't care. I don't care. I'll have you.
Jacob, my son, I give you my most valued possession, my last and youngest daughter. Take her, provide for her, love her, cherish her, and God bless you. Friends, I would make an announcement. We are here to celebrate the wedding of my daughter Rachel to the man of her own choice, Jacob. I am not losing a daughter, I am gaining a son. I offer a toast to the newly married couple. May they prosper, have long life, and many children.
The Case of the Wrestling Twig.
Jacob and Esau are twin sons of Isaac. Jacob, the younger twin, cheated Esau out of his birthright blessings and had to flee for his life to the land of his fathers in Mesopotamia. After 20 years in Mesopotamia, Jacob starts back to his childhood home in Canaan. He is now rich with worldly goods and blessed with a large family of 11 sons and 1 daughter.
Jacob,
Yes, Rachel, dear?
you're not asleep?
No, I was thinking.
So was I. I was thinking how surprised Esau is going to be when he sees you returning home with your great wealth and big family.
Yes. Yes, he'll be surprised, all right. He'll be surprised to see me at all.
That sounds as if you don't think Esau will welcome you.
He won't.
You mean because of the birthright blessings he sold to you for a bowl of pottage?
I obtained the birthright by deception.
But he sold it to you.
I took advantage of his hunger. Then I deceived him and father to receive the blessing of the birthright.
You didn't do anything that anyone else wouldn't have done in like circumstances.
Perhaps, Rachel, yet just because others do something is no reason why I should do it. I sinned and must pay the consequences of that sin.
You've repented and been forgiven, haven't you?
I have faith to believe that God has forgiven me, yes. But Esau hasn't forgiven me.
How can you be sure after 20 years?
I know Esau. He'll still be angry. 20 years ago, when I left home, Esau undoubtedly thought that I disappeared for good, and that he was the sole heir to all father's wealth. When he hears that I'm returning, he'll think it's to claim my part of the inheritance, and he'll resort to anything to retain that wealth, and also to get revenge for the great wrong I did in stealing the birthright blessing.
Why don't you send word ahead that that's not why you're returning? You can tell Esau that you're now wealthy and that you're come in peace and friendship. Surely under those circumstances he'll welcome you home.
He wouldn't believe me. I lied once and he'll think I'm lying again.
But you've repented, Jacob.
Esau doesn't know that.
What are you going to do?
I've done all I know what to do. I'm at my wit's end. So there's only one thing to do. Cast my burden upon God. Let him handle it in his own good time and way. Oh, God of heaven, Lord and Creator of all things, I come to thee in supplication, realizing my utter worthlessness. I am black with sin. Let the robe of thy light cover my sin, that I may approach thy throne of grace and receive pardon for my transgression. As the mountains of my homeland come into view, so does the awfulness of my sins appear ever before me. I ponder my sin night and day. The reproach of my conscience makes my journey sad. With the memory of my sins comes also the memory of the many favors thou hast shown me in the past, and thy promises of divine help and guidance. Now, O Lord, I beseech thee, come to my help. Guide me, direct my path as I approach nearer and nearer to my homeland and to Esau. Give me the angels. 2 hosts of angels, one before and one behind. They are here to guide and protect me. Oh God, thank thee for this visible evidence of thy love and care for me in my house. I remember, O Lord, the vision at Bethel long ago.
You saw the angels, Jacob?
Plainly, as plainly as I see you now. There were 2 groups almost encircling our camp as if to protect us.
And we're safe from your brother Esau?
Yes. But I believe that I should do all I can to secure our safety. Grandfather Abraham often said that God will not do anything for us that we ourselves can do.
What do you have in mind to do about Esau?
You yourself gave me the idea. Send him a message of friendship and greeting. Do you have your traveling companions selected, Lotan?
Yes, master.
Young men?
Yes, master.
And you know exactly where to locate my brother Esau?
Yes, master.
He is a hunter, wary of strangers, even gruff and unfriendly.
I understand, master.
Good. Now then, as to the message I want you to give Esau. Address him as Lord, my Lord Esau. Then say unto him, Thy servant Jacob saith thus, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed there until now, and I have oxen and sheep and flocks and menservants and womenservants, and I have sent to tell my Lord that I may find grace in thy sight.
Is that all, master?
Yes, and I want you to be sure to remember to call him Lord and to refer to me as his servant.
Yes, master.
And return as quickly as possible. I'm anxious to know his reaction.
Yes, master.
Jacob, why is the exact wording of the message to Esau so important?
You remember my telling you that an angel told my mother before Esau and I were born that the younger twin, I am the younger, would rule over the older?
Yes.
Well, if I address him as my lord and call myself his servant and tell him that I am wealthy in my own right, he may realize that I am not returning home to lord it over him or to get my share of the inheritance.
Meanwhile, during the years of Jacob's sojourn in Mesopotamia, Esau, living with his idol-worshipping wives in the land of Canaan, has become a man of wealth and power.
My darling wife. You look ravishingly beautiful today.
Did you do something to your hair? What?
I think you're full of wine.
Oh, I haven't touched a drop.
Then you really do think I'm beautiful?
I always have, since the first day I saw you. And that was over 20 years ago. You're still beautiful. More so today than ever.
Oh, you're sure you're not drunk?
Absolutely sure.
Something's gotten into you.
Well, you like me this way, huh?
I love you, adore you. You're my daring, darling husband.
And I'm also rich. Don't forget that. Thanks to my twin, Jacob.
How rich are we, Esau, darling?
Rich enough to have anything we want. Everything.
It's nice to be rich. Will we always be rich?
Yes. Unless Jacob returns, claims his share of the inheritance.
He won't return, will he?
I don't know.
He's been gone 20 years.
Well, even so, he might come back someday.
But that wouldn't be fair. 20 years you remain here and take care of things. Then, for him to return and take part of what you have earned.
Fair or not, it's the law of our people. He'd get the lion's share of the inheritance, too. He has the birthright claim to it.
You wouldn't let him come and claim part of our wealth, would you, dear?
No, absolutely not.
That's my big, brave, daring, darling husband. Esau, wake up. It's late.
Oh, what time is it?
The sun is 6 hands high in the sky.
Oh, I'd better get up.
How are you this morning?
Oh, fine.
As daring as ever?
Yes, I guess so.
I hope so. I mean, there is news.
Good news.
Well, bad news. During the night, some messengers arrived. They're from the east, from a...
Yes.
Well, that is... They were sent by Jacob.
Jacob. My twin Jacob.
Yes.
Where is he?
Camped at the brook Jabbok.
I thought he was in Mesopotamia.
He's on his way here. Oh, Esau, don't let him take away any of our wealth.
Is that why he's coming here?
Why else would he come back after all these years?
What did the messengers have to say?
Nothing. They won't say anything until they have seen you.
Yeah, well, I'll get dressed. Tell them I'll be right there.
Yes, dear.
You may come forward.
Thank you, my lord.
Now then, I am told you come from the east.
Yes, my lord. We have come from thy brother and servant Jacob.
He sent you?
Yes, my lord.
With a message?
Yes, my lord. Jacob said unto us, Say unto my lord Esau, thy servant Jacob saith thus, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. And I have oxen and sheep and flocks and manservants and womanservants. And I have sent to tell my lord that I may find grace in thy sight.
Well, that sounds like a rehearsed speech.
Oh, it is, my lord. It is word for word, as Jacob told us to say.
He called me Lord, and himself my servant.
Yes, my lord.
He has oxen and sheep.
Oh, great herds of them, my lord.
He's wealthy?
Yes, my lord.
I don't believe it.
It's true, my lord.
None of it's true. Just another of his schemes to throw me off guard. He's coming back to claim his share of the inheritance left by our father. Well, you can just go back and tell that lying brother of mine that I didn't fall for it. And tell him that I'm coming to meet him with 400 men, soldiers, well armed. Now go.
Yes, my lord.
You must think I'm as gullible as I used to be.
Oh, you are very wise, my husband.
Wise enough not to let that lying brother of mine fool me the second time.
You're sure? Absolutely sure Esau sent no message to you?
None except that he...
And you're not dead.
I'm not, am I?
Now eat some. Eat just a little bit, and you won't die.
What are we going to do?
What can we do? We certainly can't go back to Laban, and it looks like it's not safe to go forward.
Well, we surely can't stay here and be massacred by your brother.
I'm sorry, Rachel, but right now I just don't know what is best to do.
Have we a chance to fight it out with Esau?
No, we are utterly unarmed, defenseless.
We'll have to do something, Jacob. The entire camp is in an uproar of terror.
I know. I must do all in my power to atone for the wrong I did to Esau, and to avert the danger of his avenging anger, but what?
Would it do any good to send generous gifts to Esau?
Yes, it might, at that. At least it would prove to him that I am wealthy in my own right and not seeking my share of father's inheritance. Yes, I will. I'll send many sheep and herds to Esau with another friendly message.
Quickly, Jacob organized a group of servants and herdsmen to start out to meet Esau, driving before them a great procession of livestock, all to be presented as gifts of goodwill to Esau. Leading the procession were 220 goats. Some distance behind came more servants, leading 20 donkeys and 10 fillies. Then came shepherds with a sizable flock of sheep. Still another company drove before them 50 head of cattle. Finally came the camel drivers with 30 camels and their colts. Next, Jacob laid plans for the morrow.
Reuben!
Yes, Father?
The first thing in the morning, the entire camp will move forward. Separate the people and herds into 2 groups. We'll travel separately. If by chance one group is attacked and destroyed, the other will have a chance to escape.
Wise strategy, Father.
Having done all these things to try to avert the threatened danger, Jacob retired to a quiet spot and, in humiliation and repentance, pleaded for divine protection and guidance.
O God of mercy and justice, God of all creation, thou didst say unto me, return to thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal kindly with thee. I obeyed thy voice, O God, and now I am come face to face with danger to my wives and children and to all that I have. Lord of love, I am not worthy of the least of all thy mercies which thou hast showed me, but I plead with thee, deliver me from the hand of my brother Esau. I fear him, O God, lest he come and smite me, and my children and their mothers. Be with both our bands as we separate, and go forward on the morrow. Guide us, bless us, and thine shall be the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. All right, Reuben. You're in charge of one group. I'll take the other, and do be careful. Keep in touch by messenger.
I will, Father.
Let's go then.
All right, folks, let's get started.
Levi, you get your men and lead the way. The women and children will come next, followed by the servants, with the flocks and herds.
Meanwhile, back in Canaan, Esau has plans of his own.
Captain is all in readiness.
Yes, sir.
Let's go then.
As evening came on, Jacob and his band approached the Jabbok River.
Levi.
Yes, Father?
You sent a scout forward to examine the Jabbok River.
I did, sir. And he's already back. Reports that the river at this point is only waist deep.
Good. Take the band across the river then and camp on the other side. I'll come across in the morning.
Yes, sir.
It sounds like you're going to stay on this side of the river.
I am.
Am I going to stay here with you, Jacob?
No, Rachel, you go on across. I've decided to spend the entire night in prayer, and I prefer to be alone with God.
spot that Jacob chose for his prayer was in a lonely mountainous region, the haunt of wild beasts and the lurking place of robbers and murderers. Alone and unprotected, Jacob bowed in deep distress upon the earth.
O God of heaven, God of Abraham and Isaac, hear me now as I come to thee in my darkest hour of need. All that is dear to me is at a distance, across the river, exposed to danger and death. Bitterest of all to me, O God, is the thought that this peril upon my innocent family is the result of my sins. Forgive me, O God, forgive me. Protect my family and my servants and their families, for it is my sin, not theirs. Draw near unto Esau, my brother, and soften his heart.
Across the river to the west of where Jacob pours out his prayer is the camp of Esau and his 400 soldiers. Esau is asleep. Suddenly he awakens.
Guard! Guard! Yes, sir? Get me the captain immediately.
I'm right here, sir. I was talking to the guard.
Good. Now, sit down. I want to tell you something.
Yes.
I just had a dream, a very vivid dream.
Yes, sir.
In my dream, I saw my brother Jacob, 20 years in exile in Mesopotamia. He came home, was grief-stricken at finding his mother dead. And the most vivid thing of all was a host of angels that accompanied my brother and his band to protect them. What do you make of the dream, Captain?
I don't believe in dreams, sir.
Well, I do. I think it shows that the God of my fathers is with Jacob, and Oh, Captain, I want you to instruct your men not to harm Jacob.
I think it would be best, sir, if you yourself told them.
Well, can't you?
I can, yes, but their hatred of your brother Jacob is of such long duration that it would be hard to stop them. Unless you tell them the dream like you've told me.
All right. In the morning, early assemble them. I'll relate the dream to them.
Jacob is still praying.
Oh God, I plead with you to forgive my sins.
It is midnight.
And lay them not to the charge of my
Suddenly
family.
a strong hand reaches out of the darkness and takes hold of
and
Jacob.
bless them to the everlasting glory of God.
Jacob thought surely an enemy was seeking his life, and he endeavored to wrest himself from the grasp of his assailant. In the darkness, the two struggled for mastery. Not a word was spoken. Jacob put forth his full strength, not relaxing his effort for one moment. While he was thus struggling for his life, the sense of his guilt pressed upon his soul. His sins rose up before him to shut him out from God. But in his terrible extremity, he remembered God's promises, and his whole heart went out in entreaty for God's mercy. The struggle continued until near the break of day. Then the stranger deliberately placed his finger on Jacob's thigh. Instantly, Jacob was in terrible pain.
Oh, my thigh! I'm crippled. I know who you are now. You're the heavenly messenger. That's why my best efforts could not gain victory over you. Oh, don't you try to get away. I won't let you go. I'll cling to you until you bless me. And I want the assurance that my sins are forgiven. I am unworthy. I'm sinful, yet I do have faith in a covenant-keeping God. So bless me, angel, please.
And the angel said unto Jacob,
Let me go, for the day breaketh. Will not let thee go, unless thou bless me. What is thy name? Jacob. Thy name shall be no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed.
And the angel blessed Jacob. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, which means face of God. For, said he,
I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved.
At long last, Jacob had received the blessing which he had so earnestly sought. His sins of deceitfulness and trickery were all forgiven. The crisis in his life was past. Peace filled his heart. No longer did he fear to meet his angry brother. Joyfully, Jacob leads his band onward, toward the inevitable meeting with Esau and his company of warriors. At last, in the valley, shielded by hills, they approach each other. Esau leading his men of war, Jacob leading his wives and children, attended by shepherds and handmaidens, followed by long lines of flocks and herds. All at once, both bands come to a halt. Slowly, with bated breath, Esau and Jacob approach each other. Jacob, still disabled from the recent encounter with the covenant angel, leans heavily on his staff, halting with pain at each step. Suddenly, Esau runs forward.
Jacob,
Esau!
Jacob, my brother, my twin.
My
I'm so
brother.
glad to see you.
At long
Welcome home, Jacob.
all these years. How good to see your face again.
Holy Scripture says, "And Esau ran to meet Jacob, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him. And they wept."
Mrs. Potiphar and the Dungeon.
Slowly the Ishmaelite caravan, with its newly acquired slave, moved away from Dothan southward toward Egypt. As it passed through the vale of Hebron, Joseph could see in the distance the hills among which lay his father's tents. Bitterly he wept at the thought of the loving father in his loneliness and affliction. Joseph left Dothan, a loved but somewhat spoiled lad. Before nightfall, he had been transformed from a petted child to a man, thoughtful, courageous, and self-possessed.
Why did my brothers sell me as a slave? I've never done anything to them. Never. Yet they were angry at me. Why? And Father. Oh, Father. Father, it'll be worse on him than me. He loved me, yet this is partly his fault. He so tenderly cherished me. Too much. I'm not prepared for what may happen to me. I'm not trained to be anything but a spoiled son of an indulgent father. I was favored above my brothers. It's this very thing that angered them, provoked them to sell me as a slave. How am I going to cope with the difficulties? Bitter, uncared for life of a stranger.
Keep going there.
And slave. I'm a mere lad, but I must change. I must now take care of myself. I must. Oh, no. I must now look to God for care, love, and help. Angels of God have always come to the help of man during hours of need. They will help me in my hour of need. They will instruct, comfort, and protect me. Oh God, oh God of my fathers, God of creation, be with me as I go to Egypt to become a slave. Help me to act under all circumstances as befits a subject of the King of Heaven. For thou art my King, O God. I shall serve thee with an undivided heart. I shall meet the trials of a slave with courage, perform every duty faithfully. I give myself fully to thee, O God. I will look to thee for all strength and help and comfort. Be with me in the land of Egypt. Thy name shall forever be honored.
and glorified. Thank you, oh God.
All right, come on now. Anyone else bid on this healthy-looking lad? All right, going once. He's a right nice-looking slave. Young, handsome. Anyone else? Twice. Now, this young slave would be a welcome addition in any household. He's worth much more. Going 3 times and sold. To the gentleman with the... Oh, well, it's Captain Potiphar. You got yourself a bargain, Captain. All right, now bring on the next slave. A female.
Your name? Joseph, master.
Your age?
17, master.
You're from the east?
The north, master. The Vale of Hebron.
You're a Canaanite?
No, master. An Israelite.
An Israelite? Well, I've never heard of that tribe.
We're descendants from Abraham, master. The Abraham who migrated from Ur on the north shores of the Persian Gulf. My father is Jacob, renamed Israel by our God, so I am an Israelite, master.
While you're here in Egypt, in my household, you will worship the gods of Egypt.
In my heart, master, I shall always worship and reverence the God of my fathers, the only true and living God.
Well, I suppose that's right and reasonable. From you, then, all I want is hard work, loyalty, and faithfulness.
Yes, master.
You don't appear to be trained for hard work.
My master need but command, and I shall do the very best I can to accomplish that command.
Well, if you mean that, you and I are going to get along. I am chief of His Majesty's executioners, captain of the guards. You will be my houseboy.
Yes, master.
Potiphar, dear, you really did it this time. That new houseboy, I like him.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say so. You're usually so critical of my selection of house servants and slaves.
Oh, this one is different.
Different? How?
I don't know. He's respectful, yet not overly so. He's obedient, yet he has a mind of his own. He's everywhere at once, doing the things that need to be done, and yet he's never in the way, underfoot, or bothersome. And I never have to tell him the same thing twice.
Right.
Extremely quick to catch on. Well, he's already running the household better than anyone else ever did.
Running the household? Oh, he's just a houseboy, not the house steward.
Oh, nevertheless, he's running the house completely.
Well, don't the other servants and slaves resent him?
Resent Joseph? Oh, they love him.
Well, I'll have to look into this matter more deeply. Perhaps I'm wasting Joseph's talents on a mere houseboy's job.
You sent for me, master?
Yes, Joseph. Sit down. I understand you're making quite a success of being a houseboy.
Oh, yes, master.
No, well, I'm not complaining or condemning you. No, quite the contrary. For the first time in history, my household has been run under the budget. And for the first time in my memory, the servants are all happy and contented. Not a whimper from the lot of them. And I suspect that you're the one responsible for it all. But what's your secret, Joseph?
Secret, master?
What's the secret of your success?
I merely do every job the very best I can, master.
Many people try to do that, but they don't succeed like you have.
The God of my fathers, master, the God I serve, He has blessed my efforts.
Yes, that could be. But why does He bless your efforts and say not mine?
I honor, obey, and worship Him. He in return blesses me.
You're loyal to Him, and He rewards your faithfulness.
Yes, master.
Well, Joseph, you've been loyal to me, and I'm going to reward you. You've been houseboy. You are now promoted to house steward. Joseph, I'm amazed at your ability. I need your talents and your God's blessing in the affairs of my business. You're therefore promoted to steward of my entire possessions.
Joseph, I've been called to appear before the Minister of Finance to explain a certain diplomatic and financial matter. You will accompany me. Joseph, you're a genius! The Minister of Finance and all his assistants listened with rapt attention to your explanation, and you know, I never fully understood it myself until I heard you explain it. Joseph, you've been with me a good many years. You've progressed from houseboy to steward of everything I have. All that I have is in your hands. I don't even know what I have except the bread I eat.
Thank you, Master. God has blessed me.
Now, by the way, Joseph, I wish you wouldn't call me master any longer. I've come to look upon you more as a son than a slave. From now on, you are a respected member of my household.
And Potiphar left all that he had in Joseph's hand. And Joseph was a goodly person, well favored.
35, 40, 41, 42, 40. Who is it?
It's me, Joseph.
Come in, Mrs. Potiphar.
Hello, Joseph. Oh, no, keep your seat. Go right on working. I don't want to disturb you. I'll talk while you work. What are you doing, Joseph?
Straightening out one of the accounts.
Oh, you're smart, Joseph. My husband really appreciates the work you've done over the years. You've made him rich, you know.
Thank you, ma'am.
And so do I appreciate what you've done, Joseph.
I've tried to do my best, mistress.
You're not one of the slaves any longer, Joseph. You're one of the family.
I'm honored, ma'am.
Joseph, can't you let that work go for a while? I want someone to talk to. Someone who understands, and you're so understanding.
Thank you, ma'am.
Pay some attention to me, Joseph. I'm young and beautiful. Don't you think I'm beautiful, Joseph?
My mistress is very gracious and charming.
Oh, thank you, Joseph.
If you don't mind, mistress, I'd better go see if the new horses are properly cared for.
Joseph, come back here. Come back.
Yes, mistress.
Sit down, Joseph. That's better. My husband is away, Joseph.
I know, mistress.
Joseph. Kiss me, Joseph. Please.
Captain Potiphar trusts me, mistress. I cannot betray that trust.
But he won't know, Joseph. No one will know but you and me.
God will, mistress. His angels take a record of everything we say and do. No, mistress. I cannot do this sin against God and against your husband.
You're a slave. I could have you cast into prison for disobeying me.
Yes, mistress.
I could even have your head chopped off.
I know, mistress.
On the other hand, I could grant you favors and rewards if you'll do as I wish you to.
I must be true to the trust placed in me.
Please, Joseph. I'm so terribly lonesome.
I can't, mistress.
Refuse me, will you? Well, I'll show you it doesn't pay to cross the wife of Captain Potiphar.
I'd better go.
You can't escape me.
I better go and see about those.
I've got your coat, Joseph. That little upstart. Who does he think he is, anyway? Well, I have him right where I want him. I have his coat. Oh, he's in for plenty of trouble. Help! Help! Cross me, Willie. Help! Help! I've been attacked! Guard! Help me! Help me, someone!
Mistress? What's the matter, mistress? Are you hurt?
Oh, quick, guard, quick, catch him!
Catch you, mistress?
He attacked me. Don't let him get away. He attacked me.
Calm down, mistress, and tell me who did this to you.
He sneaked up behind me and grabbed me.
Who did, mistress?
Turned around and I saw him. Oh, it was Joseph!
Joseph?
He's insane. Don't let him escape. Oh, it was awful. Oh, catch him, guard.
Joseph, Mistress, I can't imagine Joseph doing such a thing.
I saw him. I grabbed him, but he got away. I kept hold of his coat, though. See, here it is. I still have it.
That is Joseph's coat, all right.
You see, the coat ripped when Joseph pulled away from me. Well, don't just stand there. Do something. Catch him before he escapes and attacks some other poor, helpless woman.
Yes, mistress.
Guard, come back here.
Yes, mistress.
On second thought, perhaps it would be better if we didn't do anything about it until my husband returns. Let him handle Joseph.
A wise decision, mistress.
And it came to pass, when Potiphar heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him concerning Joseph, that his wrath was kindled.
Captain Potiphar, sir, I didn't know you were home.
I just got here.
I'm glad to see you, sir. Have a good trip.
Get up, Joseph, to your feet.
Yes, sir.
What's this I hear about you?
I don't know, sir.
Betrayed my trust, didn't you?
No, sir.
Take my wife, will you? How dare you? I take you into my home, a poor, helpless slave, and make you famous. And what do? As soon as my back's turned, you attack my wife.
I am innocent, sir, of any wrongdoing.
Innocent? My wife said that you... Are you calling my wife a liar?
No, sir.
Then you're guilty.
I am innocent, sir.
What is this in my hand, Joseph?
My coat, sir.
And you know where I got it?
Yes, sir. My mistress gave it to you.
And where did she get it?
From me, sir.
And just how did she get it from you?
She took it off my back, sir.
Exactly. And you say you're not guilty? Oh, I should kill you. I should kill you, Joseph. Perhaps I will later. Right now, though, I'll put you where you'll never attack another poor, helpless woman. Guard!
Yes, sir?
Come in here and take this man to the prison dungeon.
Yes, sir.
And tell the keeper of the prison that I'll be there shortly and give him complete instructions. Throw him in the inner dungeon, keeper, with chain on his hands and fetters on his feet. He's to get only a little bread and water.
He must be a traitor to the king for that kind of treatment.
He attacked my wife.
Attacked Mrs. Potiphar? Why don't you kill him with your own hands? You almost have to, don't you, to keep your own self-respect and the respect of others?
Well, keeper, to tell you the truth, I'm not sure he did attack my wife. She says so, but I just don't believe her. If I thought that Joseph actually had attacked my wife, I'd kill him.
But if he didn't attack Mrs. Potiphar, why are you committing him to the dungeon?
Keeper, are you married?
That I am, sir.
Then I think you can understand why I'm not letting on to Mrs. Potiphar that I don't believe her story.
Oh, I quite understand. How long am I to keep the woman beater in the dungeon?
Forever.
Forever?
In chains and fetters. That's an order. Understand?
Yes, sir, Captain Potiphar. Forever it is. There, Joseph, you woman attacker. Try to escape from these chains and fetters. There you are, Joseph. Half a slice of stale bread and a little water. Fit food for a woman attacker.
Even though falsely accused and suffering hardship and pain, Joseph remained calm and patient, holding fast his faith and trust in God.
Dear God of all creation, I'm in trouble. Through no fault of my own, I am here in the dungeon. Even so, dear God, help me to forget self and think only of others. Help me to be cheerful and cooperative, to forgive those who are bringing these things upon me. And please, forgive Captain and Mrs. Potiphar for what they have done. And remember too, dear God, my father and brothers back in Canaan. Keep me always faithful to thee. Thank you, oh God.
What's going on here, woman beater? Whom are you talking to?
Oh, I was talking to God, sir. Praying.
Do you think any god can hear you and get you out of here? Such